and saying you have to follow those advertising requirements. And Andrea said to me, "Oh, well," she said, "like this." I said, I'll send something over to you guys." So I gave you 2 samples, and then I gave you the MPC sample, like the stuff you have to just check off the list.
It just shut off. It was actually just running. Do you want me to turn it down? Do you want to turn it down more?
We're good. I don't know, man. My husband's like, "What's wrong with you?" I said,
I'm chilly.
I said, "I think it was overhot."
Okay, we're chilly. You're in shorts and a tank top.
I'm sweating. My husband goes, "I hope it stays like this into the winter time."
I walked out of the house, I'm like, oh my God, it's freezing, I need a hoodie.
Yeah, exactly. Turn this on silence.
He said 5, 6 minutes. I'm like, because I said, I said, you know how this works.
That's how I like it. I guess not. Do we have tissues in here? I think we have a box. Oh, thank you. I got fallout. Jeez, my nose runs all the time.
I didn't even look at it. That many? Was that a regular? Yeah, it was a regular meeting.
Oh, well, I just got these. Supposed to make me look smarter. It does. Thank you.
I'm not quite sure if it's working.
I looked at it. He said, I'm not sure if it's working. Somebody told me that. She said, oh, you look smarter. I'm like, I looked that dumb before, right?
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order. If we can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First is the announcement of an executive sessions held August 6th, August 13th, and August 17th regarding personnel. Moving on from that is minutes for approval for the July 16th, 2026 regular meeting. Do I have motion or comments?
I'll make a motion to accept those minutes.
I will second it with the clarification that there's a few errors, grammatical stuff and that Liz already knows about. So once we make those corrections, then she can post them.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is and I skipped right over public comments, so I'm going to stop us for 1 second real quick and jump around here. I apologize. Is there any public comments for anything that is on the agenda items? I believe we have a group of people here for one specific reason. Do we want to hear them first under our public comments, or do we want to make them suffer through our whole meeting?
I'm willing to have them come up, take care of it right away.
Okay. So how we're going to do this, I'm going to ask you to come up. Make sure you signed in on the back. If you didn't sign in on the back sheet, there's a sheet up here. Please sign in. And if you want to come up, just state your name and your address and go from there. Is this the sheet? Yes, sir. I'm just gonna look and see if that mic's on.
Trust me, you guys will be able to hear me. Understood. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, my name is Russ Werkheiser. I live on Bridle Path Lane. Many of my neighbors are here as well. They all live on Bridle Path Lane. And we filed, all of us filed complaints with our one neighbor. His name is John Kachurak. As of the last count that I did, he has 33 cars on his property. Many of them are junked. I'm jumping a little ahead of what I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'll take a quick second to give you just a little bit of my background. I grew up here. I'm a resident of Lower Milford 47 out of the 57 years of my life. Paperboy and Limeport. I very much value all the amenities that are here, including the farms. The farms are very important to me. And what we are asking for the township at this point is to do something to help protect, our lives, because I know his cars are leaking into the ground, and secondarily, our property values, because he's basically running a junkyard. I hand these out to you. These are copies of my complaint, just so you have it. I don't have all the complaints for my neighbors, but this is mine and some photos.
Thank you.
And it's pretty clear that he's basically running a junkyard. He strips cars. People will come and take the parts. I've seen people leave with parts. I know the township, I believe, sent a letter, both certified or regular mail. He has not responded to it. I talked to Andrea today, the code enforcement officer, and she said he has not responded. In the letter was basically just a request asking him to come talk and say, like, hey, let's be neighborly. He hasn't, the certification or the verification of delivery has not come back, but the odds are, and I'm a betting man, that he did receive it, and the only reason I'm saying that is because he has doubled down since last week. One of the pictures I have here is, and I will gladly leave these with you guys. Sorry, guys, I'll just show you a picture. Right here, this was on the 12th, and this was on the 17th, where after he received the letter, he then took two of the cars that is completely stripped out, and he parked them in his front yard. If you look in this picture, you can see the front of a car. All weekend, he's parked his cars in the street. We literally, on our street, because of him, have a sign, it's the only one I've ever seen in the township for no parking. It's ordinance 74. Whenever somebody says something or does something, he doubles down and makes it worse. This picture here shows one truck that has the front end completely gone. This car that's right here was parked next to that, and you can see that in some of the other pictures. This picture over here is the 17 cars he has in the back of his property, not including the 13 or 14 cars he has in the front of his property. And this right here is an aerial view that Pete, one of our neighbors, took when he was flying. He actually took that shot. We'll go one step further, and this one shows dates. It shows the progressive worse, how it's gotten worse every year. I guess it'll help move it upside down. Back in 2000, and this was pulled from Google Earth. You guys can look all this up yourself. 10 cars, he went down to 8 cars in 17, then went to 11 cars in 20, 15 cars in 22, 24 cars in 24, and as of April 24th, he had 30 vehicles on his property. It's getting worse and worse and worse. So what we're asking for is if you guys can please make some sort of an amendment or a change. There is ordinance 137, you're probably familiar with it, but I printed it off just in case. Ordinance 137 was changed back in 2020, where it talks about, nuisances. And it doesn't specifically identify anything regarding vehicles, but in the spirit of it, and there isn't a lot of teeth here. I talked to Andrew about this. There isn't much here that can really be used other than the nuisance side. And then the question would then become, what makes it a nuisance? Well, a lot of the vehicles are rusted, they're sharp edges, and you know, I've talked to a couple of my attorney friends, and it's great to debate with attorneys on the argument side. And one of them brought something that was very interesting. He said, well, it's simple. If you don't go on the property, then you don't have the nuisance. You don't have to worry about cutting your finger or doing whatever it is. And he said, but then the argument is made, well, then why do we have fences around our pools? Because we're not going to go in and we know where they are, but you have the fence around the pool so that if people do go on your property, they don't fall in the pool and drown. So it's the same type of logic. And what we're looking for is for you all to help us, to protect us, because it just keeps getting worse. And mine, I'm on the far side in the corner at the end of the cul-de-sac. And unfortunately, Steve and Pete, Steve Castellani and Pete Lang, and their wives, they live on either side of them. And if you have to go and appreciate the back of Steve's house and Pete's as well, but to stand back there and the beauty of all and everything they've done, and we're all meticulous with our yards. We want it to be nice for our neighborhood. And to stand there and look at this beautiful view, and for each one of them, for Pete it's on his right, for Steve on his left, you're looking at a junkyard. It's just, it's horrible. And taking one step back, I understand why the ordinance has been so loose in Lower Milford. We have farms. I grew up just outside of Limeport and Emmaus Road by the Wright, the Hilda Bidle, and the Getz farms. On two of them, I kind of worked. I had hay fever, so I wasn't very good. But I understand that, and on those farms, there are old Studebakers, there's some old tractors, and I appreciate it. Like, I look back at those days, and I understand it. But they're all part of the Farmstead Act, which from my reading is as long as you have 30 acres, you qualify for the Farmstead Act. If you're neighborly to that and you have 10 acres, you can fall into that as well. There are certain guidelines, and I'm paraphrasing it. But if we could find something where the township could, you guys could vote on something or prepare an ordinance and do an amendment to 137 or whatever that says, hey, look, we don't want to hurt the farms. The farms, if you have 10 acres or 30 acres, we're not going to touch you. Like, this is more for the smaller housing, the smaller developments, to just keep people from doing that. Let me close with this. John was aware of the rules when he moved here. The reason why I know this for two reasons. One, when I was going to a poker tournament in Atlantic City, and my friend who was a Salisbury police officer pulled up to my house, and he goes, when did Kachurik move in? And I went, how in the world do you know that? He used to live in Salisbury Township. He used to have cars on his property, and they would cite him. There was an elderly couple, and I confirmed this with his ex-spouse 2 weeks ago. There was an elderly couple that was a few doors down from him. They would call the police. So what John did is he bought this enormous Lincoln two-door boat, for lack of better terms. It was 6 different colors. I know that because he had it on his property for a long time. That's how Jay, my friend that's a cop, recognized, because he saw the car. What he did is he parked it in front of his neighbor's house. He got it registered, insured, and inspected. And he parked it in front of this old couple's house, and every 4 or 5 days he would move it 10 feet so that it would meet the guidelines. This is who you're dealing with. And the other reason I know that he knew the rules is because when I was still married, my wife said to me when they bought the house, he pulled in and he had a car in the back of his trailer, and she goes, he has an old car in the back of his trailer. So I looked down, I'm like, I think that's a 71 Hemi Charger. That's a very nice, it was beautiful, it's a beautiful car. And then a couple hours later, he pulled in with another car. It was a 1971 Indy Pace Car Challenger convertible. So I walked down, and he was in the house, and I'm walking around with the trailer, and he came out of the house, and I said, hey, John, or I said, hey, nice, I said, hey, I saw you had some cars, and he immediately stepped forward. He's like, I'm allowed to have the cars. I can park them here. I know the rules. I know the laws, whatever. I said, hey, brother, we're good. I'm a Mopar guy. I have a Challenger myself. I have a 70 Challenger from high school. And then his attitude changed, and it was friendly for a while until the junkyard started. And I will gladly leave these. My friend owns a sign company that did them for me. I will leave them with you so you can look at the color pictures of it. it's just gotten bad, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse. And we all, genuinely, all of us have a concern.
You want to address the oil that might be coming in?
Well,
The oils?
yes, the other thing is any type of oil or leakage on these cars is coming out. Now, I didn't get to talk to my neighbors about this, but Andrea spoke to somebody at the EPA, and the woman at the EPA she spoke to said, we're not really that concerned about it because we don't know how much is leaking out, which was very concerning for me that the EPA, I don't think she had, I say she, Andrea did not have this level of detail that she could show, but it's a genuine concern. We all have wells. So again, we're looking for you all to protect us and take care of us. And we've been dealing with it, you know, we've been watching it grow. The first picture here with a few cars, which again, look at this and you go, well, okay, you know, he's got 4 or 5 cars back here, he's got 4 cars there. It's not too bad. It's just progressively getting worse and worse and worse. Did you guys, that's pretty much all I have to say. Do you guys have any questions of me that I can answer or anything?
I have one question. Is there any deed restrictions or anything on when they built there?
Our deed restrictions did not get filed for
Okay.
some reason. I don't know why.
Just curious. I live in a development about a mile from you, and there's 6 houses of us, and we have deed restrictions. Part of it is parking cars on the grass, stuff like everything you're dealing with. That's why I was just curious if there was something civilly that you guys could do at that point.
So from your experience, is there any way we can file deed restrictions, or are we, you know, past the midnight hour?
I can't
I know
answer
you're
that
not
question,
gonna
but I don't think so, but I can't answer that.
No, your deed restrictions would be at the time, to handle the whole development, everyone would have had to have them apply when they moved into the development, unless everyone would agree today. I can't imagine he's going to.
We're shocked at that too.
I do know me and Mark have talked. I know I've talked with Andre a couple times. I know they are looking at different avenues. It hasn't fallen on deaf ears. I know we are looking. It may seem like we are not. I think we're looking at all avenues at this time.
I appreciate that. And I do understand, I tell my clients from the IRS standpoint and stuff like that, the wheels grind very slow, but they grind very fine. And that's what that's what I appreciate, is that if it takes time, I get that. We're not expecting that tomorrow the world will change. We just wanted to really bring it to your attention to the level we're dealing with, and that just that it's escalating. Maybe if it was the same as 14 or 17, when you had 8 vehicles in 17, you know, we look out and whatnot. One of the things I will mention, and I don't know if it's a spiteful thing, but I know Steve, the house at the end of the cul-de-sac opposite me, and if you look through these pictures, you'll see he has spent tens of thousands of dollars putting trees between the properties. Every time he extends his tree line, the cars go further back. It's very interesting, and him and I were talking about that the other day.
He's spiteful.
That's the point. And we have not come to you, I mean, this has been going on for well over a decade, close to a decade and a half. The reason why we haven't come in front of you is because of the spitefulness. Like, he parked his, like, the whole car thing, and I know the township has talked to him, he parked 3 cars in the street and left them there all weekend. That's why I'm certain he got your letter, and his response is, I won't say the words, but he's like, nah, let's see, you guys can't do anything. And he said that to me already when we've been nose to nose having a not so friendly combo, but he's been more than clear. He's like, there's nothing you can do. I'm within the law, I'm within the guidelines of the law. And he is, currently. We're just asking you guys to review that. As long as it doesn't affect the farms, how can you help us?
I'd be curious to know if his taxes are paid.
Well, maybe Jess will tell you, but anyway.
We are looking. Know that Mark has spent time on it. Andre spent a lot of time with Mark on it. She, I know, has kept me somewhat up to date with it, shooting emails to the board about it. It hasn't fallen on deaf ears.
Okay.
If that makes you feel any better.
It does. I mean, if you guys have discussed it, is there anything that, even 1 degree that you've come up with that could be, that we can walk out of here this evening and say, all right, we've got something, there's something with teeth, anything at all?
Yeah, Mr. Worker, I will tell you that Andrea had contacted me, and I know the letter went out, and that's why it does go regular mail and certified. So it's presumed that he did receive the letter, and based on what you're saying, he probably did get it. With regard to the enforcement action that may occur, that's gonna be litigation on the part of the township, so we don't discuss that at public meetings. But I will say that Andrea did reach out to me, the letter went out, and then she had reached out to me yesterday and said that she didn't receive a response. So the next steps will start to occur.
Very good.
Can I ask a question? You said that you live a mile away from here, and you have a deed restriction on your property. And we're in the same county, we're a mile away from each other.
It was done by the developer when he built our development. It was filed with all the lots. So it's nothing that the township can enforce. So even if I had a problem with my neighbor parking cars on the grass, it's nothing the township's ever gonna do. Us as neighbors would have to civilly go after him for that.
Even though you have a deed, you're saying you're in the same predicament we are.
Township has no involvement with it. It'd be a civil matter.
So it doesn't really matter, you're saying.
Well, we were supposed
For the-
to, I think in our original documents, it said about deed restrictions, but I don't think there wasn't anything filed within our development. I remember that, and honestly, the logic back then was, in early 2000s, if someone was gonna drop $200,000 on a lot of land, they're not gonna have a junkyard. That was just the logic back then, and obviously, logic doesn't apply here, we can obviously see. So, yes, but I know that the deed restrictions to confirm are not enforced by the township, enforced by the solicitor, so forth, they would be on. us
It's
to
a
file
civil
some-
matter at that.
Gotcha, okay.
So.
I'm gonna leave these, so you guys, is that okay? I mean, trust me, Mike, I can get more.
More than welcome to.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Yous are welcome to stick around. We're not gonna be offended if you all run out the door, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ready to move on? All right, so we are gonna go down to number 5, Township Treasury Report as of August 5th, 2026. Jason or Sue, would you like to read it?
Go ahead.
Yep. Township Treasurer's Report as of August 5th, 2026. General Fund, $2,157,482. Historical Registry Fund, $5,735. Fee in lieu of fund, $24,000. Sewer Fund, $87,817. Capital Improvements Fund, $429,232. The Fire Fund, $512,624. Highway Capital Improvement Fund, $363,881. I'm sorry. Let me say that again. $363,881. The State Liquid Fuels Fund, $354,649. And the Developer Escrow, non-township funds, is $31,969.
Do I have a motion to approve Township's Treasury Report as read?
I make a motion to approve the Township Treasurer's Report.
I will second that.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, authorize paying August 2026 bills. Do I have a motion to authorize paying 2026 bills, August 2026 bills?
I make a motion to authorize the paying of the August 2026 bills.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is the July staff reports. Any questions, comments, concerns on anything with the staff reports?
I see we're finally able to close out with Cintas.
Yes, I finally found the right email address, apparently, to get action. And we did not pay any more money than we should have.
Thank you. Great job.
If there's no questions, if anyone would like to make a motion.
I make a motion to accept the July staff reports.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, July EMS reports. McCungy Ambulance responded to 5 calls in Lower Milford Township. Upper Perk, I believe, responded to 1. And then there is Upper Perk's financials were provided.
Sorry, I didn't
It-
list them because
no-
they're here.
Nope, they're fine. We don't have fire on there, but we're gonna go to fire next right away. Anything from Ed Miller?
Yes.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Sign in the back, right? Sign in up here.
Nope, as long as you signed in the back, please. One of them's fine.
The tanker is coming up on refurbing. The problem is that we found out because the manufacturer or one of the repair companies we deal with was at our shop working on the engine. They can't refurb it anymore. It's too old. So, which pretty much means we have to, if you want to keep 2 Class A pumpers in the township, which is, from what I've heard, we wanted in the past, we have to replace that. So, we were trying to look at maybe refurbing that and replacing the engine, because the engine, even though it's not that old, has been a lemon. They were just there repairing it again this week. When were they there, the engine repairing it, this week? Tuesday, they were there repairing it again, so, but I don't think that's feasible, we can't afford that, so. We wanna know what the township would like to see us do. Do we wanna keep 2 Class A engines to try to keep the fire rating, I'm drawing a blank now. What's it called?
Class A fire rating.
Yeah. The level, try to keep it down, or, I guess it's can't think of what it's called.
IAC? No, is that
Keep us
right?
from going, it's what the insurance company uses to rate the fire department, so you get your fire insurance. I can't think of what it's called right now. But we're at a 9 or 10, 10's the highest already. Apparently, if we don't have 2 Class A pumpers, we're gonna be pretty much a 10 everywhere, so I don't know, that's my understanding of it.
When does the certification run out on the tanker? Do we know?
I believe we have 2 or 3 years left on it yet,
Okay.
which is ridiculous that they can't do anything to refurb it when it's got 8,000 miles on it. You know, and a new truck is probably over $1 million.
How old is it that it's too old?
Once it's 20 years, or, because of the rules with, like, I believe it's with the deaf, has a lot to do with the deaf, correct? That's the problem we have, they can't recertify it, so.
The problem is, I talked to Glick about refurbing it. He said the problem is, when it gets to this age, there's no taking it to NFPA standards, because the NFPA standards are what's enforced today. And he said, with all the safety precautions and stuff that are in the new trucks, there's no way that we can take it and refurb the tanker to bring it up to the NFPA standards. So you lose your Class A certification.
It's still a great piece of equipment, that's not the problem, but it's also a Class A pumper for us, which the ISO ratings, I think it is.
There you go.
Is what they're looking for 2 Class A pumpers. Well, if it's over 20 years old, we'll no longer have 2 Class A pumpers in the township. We'll have 1. And mutual aid companies, even if they're on automatic dispatch with us, they're not allowed to be counted. So we tried to pull that over and say, hey, we got mutual aid coming in on every call. How about, nope, doesn't matter. They want to know what your township has for your people, So the tanker's still a great tanker for hauling water. It's just not gonna have its Class A certification for being a pumper. And we started a truck committee and investigating maybe getting rid of the engine, because we get top dollar for it, getting a different engine, refurb the tanker. Now we're kind of on hold till because we found this out. We were we didn't think that was gonna happen. Now we're coming to you, see what you would like us to try to do.
I don't know if this was ever done. Did Rich assign anybody to the fire committee that we were trying to get together?
I think Rich and Jerry were planning on sitting down with you and Elizabeth, I believe.
Rich has not contacted me since I emailed him about it. So I haven't heard from
If we
Rich
could
yet
just
about
pass
starting
that-
I
that.
think you challenged.
If we can pass it on to have that done, so maybe we can start getting the fire committee
Okay.
together, and then from there we can start.
I think when you were at the station the other week, I think what'd they say, Wednesdays were good?
Yeah. He was supposed to send, I think, I don't know if he was supposed to send up to Biz or what, but.
And I can follow up with him too if that's easier.
Are there any grant resources for monies?
According to the grant writer we used when we got the radio grant, it's very hard to get it for a truck that's this new. Go figure that out, because we did ask about that. So it's, there, on one hand, he's saying it's very hard for them to give you free money because the truck's too new, because there's other areas that have much older trucks. They're gonna get it first. But yet, you can't get a Class A certification on it. These rules, a lot of these rules are set by the paid departments. And us as volunteers, small departments like us, we have to follow the same rules. You know, as the big city departments that sit in on all these meetings and have these, set up these rules. So, that's why we're where we're at, you know?
So we don't maintain our Class A. How does that impact
It's
homeowners and
gonna
their
affect-
insurance?
It's gonna affect the rating, the ISO rating, which it's from 1 to 10, 10's the worst you could be, which makes it difficult or very expensive to have insurance. So depending on where you live, if you have a 10 rating, certain carriers won't, from what I understand, I'm not an insurance guy, certain carriers won't insure you because you're too high a risk. So that's the concern.
I'll try and find that out. My husband's a
it's-
risk analyst insurance
Well,
person.
it might be, we may get somewhere with that then, you know?
He's gonna
Just
shoot me
trying
for
to get somebody to
volunteering
give you,
him, but-
trying to give you get somebody to give you answers. We get calls probably a couple times a month. Every time somebody buys a house, they call a firehouse. Rich has to fill out a report. They want to know what size truck, how many men come out on a call, how much water do we carry, where's the closest hydrant, et cetera, you know, several times a month. And that's what they're doing, so they can evaluate the fire risk for these people, you know,
So earlier this year, we had the fire report.
from the DCED.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how come they didn't catch it?
It's not running out yet. It's coming up. It takes over a year to get a truck. That's why we're planning. It's
Yeah.
not out yet. We're planning. It's been in our budget for the last couple of years that we knew this was coming, so we're trying to plan ahead. Because the engine is turned into a lemon, we were thinking maybe we could refurb this truck, get a new engine. We could still get top dollar for ours. We could kind of do both. That would keep us in a rotation that we like, but if we have to buy a new tanker, that's not feasible, not at over $1 million a piece, you know, so.
So it's not
Since
just,
two people.
it's
I
not
mean,
just refurbing the truck, it's refurbing the pumper part of it too. It's the combination is what you're talking about.
Yeah, they would go through the whole truck, they check the engine out, they replace the belts, the hoses, all that stuff. The pump gets tested, all new gaskets in it, stuff like that. They flow test it for hours to make sure it's putting out what it should put out. Usually put new valves on it. If there's lighting that needs to be done, tires, but tires we always get done, we have to do that every 10 years, so tires are in good shape. Lighting usually gets upgraded, radios usually get upgraded, but we just got a radio, so it's a complete overhaul. It's usually considerably cheaper than buying a new truck, that's why people do it, you know. But they're saying it's too old because of the DEF stuff that's in it, which if you have diesels, you know what that's like. It just kind of threw us for a loop. We weren't expecting that on an 8,000 mile truck to get that news, you know.
So the certification runs out in 2 years or 3 years?
I think it's 3 years. You know for sure when it runs out? 3 years?
It's an '09.
So it'll be 29. 29.
So we have 3 years.
Yeah, so well, it depends on what month, but 2029.
Do you foresee having to invest a lot of money over the course of those 3 years to keep it operating and up to where the level is right now, or it should be good to last those 3 years?
I think the truck's in great shape. There's been a couple minor rust things, and probably some of the issues are because it doesn't get run enough. We just had it up at Trans Edge last week. I think that was $1,500 for that. We had a fire on Wind Hill Road, and we brought it back, and it was spewing antifreeze everywhere. After the call, a gasket blew out, and that cost $1,500 to repair the gasket from Trans Edge. So I think because it's 20 years old, you're gonna have that kind of problem with it, but, I mean, realistically, that truck should last forever.
I'm just
For the
wondering.
miles that we put on in our township, but that's just not the way it works, unfortunately, you know?
I'm just wondering if we can have that 3-year cushion time frame, that it will still work, we can still
I
keep
don't-
that rating, and then,
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have a problem for the next 3 years. I don't think we'd have a problem with the truck for the next 10, 15 years. Other than, as far as NFPA is concerned, it won't be a Class A pumper anymore after 2029. So then you're only gonna have one in the township. I'd prefer to keep that truck and get rid of our engine, because that truck gives us less trouble than the engine does. We just had the engine in it, the large diameter hose. We were down practicing by your place at Schultz Bridge, and the large diameter hose valve took a crap, so we had to have that replaced. That was a couple $1,000. So that had a loose connection in it from the get-go, and they more or less told us we're gonna be chasing gremlins, and that had a loose ground in it. Took forever to find it, and they said we're gonna be chasing gremlins as long as we own it. The electronic stuff keeps going bad, speed sensors go bad. Every time we turn around, there's something else on that. So that's why I was considering bare bones minimum into our tanker maybe to refurb it, and let's get rid of the lemon that we keep putting all this money into all the time, but it doesn't sound like that's doable at this point. Don't need an answer tonight, but something that we need some guidance from you guys, what you would like. I think we need to find more out about this insurance stuff, because I don't know enough about it.
And what year's the engine? The other one?
Engine is 18. So that's coming up on 10 years old. So the thought was every 10 years, we had to do something on one of them, and that's where we're at. If the engine was in better shape, we'd be fine with it, and it's in great body shape and stuff. It just got its, loose connection caused a lot of problems with all the electronic stuff in there that's coming back to bite us. So who knows how long that's gonna keep going, so. So we don't wanna start wasting time with salesmen coming out and sitting down with us, specking out trucks till we have a better feel for what you guys would like to see. If we're trying to stay with 2 Class A engines, then that's the route we'll go,
Can you see if you can do some research with the ISO rating? And we'll leave this on the agenda
Yeah.
for under fire
I didn't
report
expect
for
an
next
answer
month.
tonight. We had to bring it up so you guys, we can get an idea which way you wanna head.
What we'll do is we'll throw it on the agenda for next month
Okay.
under, normally we have fire report, and we'll actually make it a bullet item underneath that.
Yeah, Elizabeth forgot me, that's okay. I'll forgive
So
her.
sorry.
No, I'm just teasing. HVAC, we getting anywhere with that? I know we had some emails going back and forth.
No,
Okay,
we're gonna have to. I think at the amount it is, no matter what, even if we find a CoStar vendor, we know what was allocated to you.
I'm
It's
trying to
gonna,
find a CoStar HVAC guy, and I haven't been able to find one so far.
so you can go, there is a way to go on and actually search all CoStar vendors, and you can put in the
Where do you go to?
CoStar's website.
Oh, okay.
There's a CoStar's website, and you can go on there. I believe it's under PA procurement, and you can actually put in what you want. I will try to make myself a note to go in there and look and see if I can
just
find
made
it.
a note too. The advisory committee, we just talked about that, and hoagie sales are ongoing, so That's all I had. Did you have anything else? That's it.
Cool, thank you. Moving on, next is subdivision land development. So action on 1200 subdivision, action on subdivisions for 1200 Beverly Hills Road, conditional final approval granted 8-3.
Tim, if I could jump in on
Yep.
that one. That was the Marmar subdivision. That did get the conditional final approval. Remember, the conditional use came before you, I think it was in March, April timeframe, that had been approved. That was really the last hurdle they had to get through. So the subdivision is conditionally approved. There are gonna be agreements that have to be prepared, the financial security agreement, the stormwater O&M, et cetera. So at this point, they'll be going through those items, they'll be getting things over to the engineer. I would just ask tonight, I need a ratification then from the board for the approval. No action needed on Lee's, that was simply an extension on their subdivision plan. They weren't ready to come in and finish that up, so that's a 2-lot subdivision there.
One of you like to make a motion to ratify it?
I'll make a motion to ratify the,
1200 Beverly Hills.
all right, the 1200 Beverly Hills Road,
Conditional final approval.
okay, for the conditional final approval.
Do I have a second?
That's the one Jason had issues with.
This was the one I had, hopefully you all received the letter. It was a fairly lengthy letter for the conditional approval. It went out to, I think, all the PC. Everybody had received copies. You should have received them.
Seeing no second, I will make a second to ratify the 1200 Beverly Hills Road conditional final approval. With that, any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Moving on to old business is a zoning ordinance update for the roof mounted solar and timber harvest. So we have letters from LVPC that had, Lehigh Valley Planning Commission did have some comments. I believe one other person did have some comments, but it was just typo things. LVPC did come back with more than just typos and some recommendations. So we can move forward to approve it with their recommendations. We can not accept their recommendations, or if we want, we can actually send it back to PC and let them review LVPC's comments.
So if they review the comments and bring us back what their recommendation is, and they don't agree with these, we can still counter that?
Mhm. Jason, do you have any?
I mean, I really want to get it done. It's been dragging on for a long time. As far as the timber harvest, we went with the recommendation of Penn State, I thought, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but Penn State is doing a lot of research with these riparian buffers. That was one of the conference sessions I sat in on this summer. I mean, I wouldn't mind going by the LVPC's recommendation as far as removing the allowance for timbering along those riparian buffers to help safeguard erosion.
I wouldn't mind seeing it go back to the PC board and letting them comment and review what LVPC said. Either of you feel strong one way or another, which way you want to go?
I'm okay with taking it back to the PC board, but yeah, it's been dragging on, but.
So PC would meet the first Monday of the month. I don't know what that date is off the top of my head. And then we would be meeting most likely probably for a workshop.
That's Monday or Tuesday. Well, they always meet Mondays.
They meet Mondays, so they would meet September 7th.
September 7th is a holiday, so
Oh.
they would be meeting after the workshop.
14.
So the 14th, they would meeting, yes, after the workshop, but we would have a regular board meeting then, believe it or not, that Thursday. That would be the third Thursday, if we send it back to them. What do you think, Jason?
So what they're saying is that ordinance did not allow it for any RC. We weren't allowing rooftop solar, is that correct? That's how I'm reading it?
So my concern with the LVPC was the comment for the timber harvest, which LVPC recommends the township consider removing the allowance for timber harvesting within the Zone 1 riparian, I can never say it, buffer,
Riparian.
as those trees is critical in prevention of erosion. Additionally, the LVPC recommends the township consider consulting a professional arborist when timber harvesting is proposed in sensitive areas such as 1 riparian buffers and steepest slopes, is their comment.
That wasn't my concern.
That one wasn't your concern?
No, that was your concern, though?
Yeah.
That you think that should be in there?
Yes.
So they're saying removing that allowance.
Correct. They're saying ours will allow for it, they want it removed.
Oh, no, I want ours in there. I want that in there. I don't agree with LVPC.
You do agree or don't agree?
I don't agree with that, if they're asking to remove that. I think it's important to keep the,
So no, they're saying,
No, you got it backwards.
yes, you have it
so
backwards.
my initial
Yes, they're saying they don't want it done in there,
understanding was-
correct.
Okay, yes.
They were
so my
asking for
initial-
more protection of those.
Yeah,
riparian-
and that's what I would prefer to go with. It's not saying that we can't harvest it, but we need to get an actual specialist out here to look at it. I would prefer not to harvest the trees unless it's for emergency protections.
I think, my opinion is we let planning commission go through all this, they did all the research, they did it, so I think they should be reviewing the comments that came back. I don't want to put it off anymore, but I would like to know their opinion.
Do you feel that we should, there should be a professional arborist involved in a timber harvest?
That's only for emergency purposes, with cutting down these things that will impact the riparian buffers.
I think for those areas, yes. For regular areas, no.
Right.
I think where they want it at the steepest slopes, they want a professional to look at it.
It's just an added cost on the landowner, though.
It is.
But we talk about protecting our steep slopes. And you cut those out, you're gonna have all kind of runoff and erosion on those steep slopes.
It's been this township's biggest fight is protecting our steepest slopes. Hasn't it been for the last 20 years? And then we're gonna allow them to go timber harvest and do whatever? Township spent millions of dollars fighting to protect their steepest slopes.
And it's also as far as like the erosion of the creek walls and,
So what about the landowner that has that wooded land and keeps it as open ground, but we're forcing him to not harvest that timber and make some money off of it, after he's maintained that open ground for all those years.
it
So
doesn't,
you're almost pushing it into the hands of a developer then, who can pay for the arborist and do what they want.
somewhere in the research though, doesn't it give us percentages as to how much they are allowed to timber out And on steep slopes, I thought I read it can only be like 10%. I don't have that documentation with me somewhere, I thought. Because unless I'm confusing it with another one, I read so much in the last couple of hours, but somewhere in the stuff that was sent us, if this was all of it, there is like a percentage of what. I need to start bringing my computer. Unless it was dealing with something else.
It is listed in the letter as a consideration. Would that be interpreted as a consideration for, a case-by-case basis? It's not necessarily saying it would be required.
Maybe it's in the actual ordinance.
So you just want to leave it go, Jason? Is that your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I have concerns, but that is my opinion. I think we have a pretty strong, why was the Penn State plan? Why weren't they
Yeah, here
putting
it
that in
is.
there?
I couldn't answer that. I don't know when that was done.
And who directed us towards that plan?
I believe the Attorney General did, because I believe ours was too strict to begin with. So they directed us, when a complaint was filed, to redo it.
Okay, can you guys reference Article 10 in the ordinance? Natural Resource Protection Standards. Prohibitively steep slopes, no more than 10% of prohibited steep slopes shall be regraded, cleared, built upon, or otherwise altered or disturbed. In addition, disturbance permitted on prohibitively steep slopes shall be limited to the following activities: timber harvesting when conducted in compliance with the required timber harvesting plan, grading permit. So, I mean, connecting all these parts together, is that part of that ordinance? Does that still supersede what the LVPC is telling us to remove? It's article, would be under A4.
Yep.
So you've got 4 different levels of slopes in there with different percentages as far as what I'm assuming can be timbered out.
This is what we've had, this has been in the quarry case as well. They had the same limitations on disturbance of the steep slopes for their proposed development. So, yes, it does cover that. I think the difference is what they're raising in the letter from the LVPC it was specific to the riparian zone, the Zone 1 riparian buffer. They said the way that the ordinance was currently set up, it did allow timber harvesting within that Zone 1 riparian buffer. They were saying that's what they felt was critical in preventing erosion. They would recommend against that. And then they said in terms of the professional arborist, it would be when you're in the Zone 1 riparian buffers and steepest slopes. So steepest slopes, they're going to be limited in terms of what they can disturb anyway.
Yeah, I believe it's talking more about the riparian,
Yeah,
so,
which
than
would
the
be
steep
the,
slopes.
Makes sense.
which would be the waterways. So and that would be the only time you have to bring an arborist in is during with the runoff and the buffers.
They recommended an arborist if you're in the steepest slopes, but that, I mean, the PC could look at that. It seems to me they're raising really 2 or 3 issues. The one was not allowing the timber harvesting within that Zone 1 riparian buffer. They felt that he said that's critical. And then they referenced the professional arborist when in the sensitive areas such as that buffer or the steepest slopes. That's something the PC can certainly look at and discuss. And probably then at that point, they would take a look, because there were also some recommendations with regard to the, I saw it in one of the letters, I don't remember which one it was. There was a reference concerning, oh yeah, it's in the same letter, the RC Resource Conservation District about the solar energy systems, roof mounted. They could look at that too and come back to you with comments or thoughts on that. If it would make sense if it's going back, look at all the issues they raised. don't believe I thought we got one comment from one township. It was,
I think it was just typo things, wasn't it?
It was grammatical from Upper Milford.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was all, no one else responded. So that would be your option. You could either move forward with the way it reads now, you can move to advertise that, or you could send it back with the comments from LVPC to the planning commission. They could take another look at it.
They have additional stuff in here on the next page pertaining to the riparian buffer and wetland margin. Article 1008. So it has Zone 1 inner riparian buffer and wetland margin.
And that's what they,
And it already says that no land disturbance shall be permitted within the Zone 1 riparian buffer or wetland margin.
yeah, I think there are protections in there.
Where is that?
That's the next page over after Article 10 in the ordinance. Right here. Maybe it's Article 10.
Number 5 says timber harvesting operations when conducted in compliance with a timber harvesting plan prepared in accordance with section 1200A31.
So is Zone 1 a steep slope, a very steep slope? What
No,
is-
it's a riparian
Yeah,
buffer.
But can that be a steep slope? No,
I don't think generally it is, no.
not with the wetlands.
Well, but look what it says. It says, with the exception of those uses or activities listed below, no disturbance shall be permitted within that zone. The Zone 1 riparian buffer, wetland margin, bit number 5, timber harvesting operations. So that's the problem. They're picking up that, with the exception, it does allow timber harvesting operations to take place within the Zone 1 riparian buffer. As LVPC is saying they have a concern with that.
Yeah, so do I. Especially when, so my parents have property that had timbering done, not my parents' property, adjacent to my parents' property. And they went in and they devastated the whole entire hillside and made a total mess of it. They came in, they said they would clean it up. There's logs and stuff all over the creek beds and stuff like that, causes all kind of flooding issues. And there's all kind of erosion issues. So depending on the type of harvesting company you get in there, timbering company, they can't, they may say one thing, but yet to honor and do exactly what they're gonna say, they can make a real mess of things. And they can totally mess up the whole entire landscape and layout if they're not careful with these riparian buffers in those zone areas. And we do have some areas in this township where, the Hosensack Creek, I'm identifying that by the right name, right? That goes through? Okay. That's a preserved creek going through the township, and you can have issues with the erosion on that. You've got farms along that creek that use that as a water source for their animals. So it can have a big impact on the community in general. So anything along those creek beds, we have flooding issues along, the whole creek floods along there where we don't have trees and stuff like that. They help maintain a lot of that erosion or prevent that erosion. So, I'm all for that protection in those riparian buffers.
So do you want to see it go back to PC and
I
let them
would,
review
and
it,
see
or do you
what
just
they-
want to adopt? Or
What?
you want to see what PC has to say?
Our other option would be adopting it the way it is, correct?
Advertising it, yeah, as the way it is, or advertising it with their suggestions. Or send it back to PC and let's get their opinion.
Yeah, technically, if you make a substantial change, it has to go back to the PC anyway under the municipalities planning code. If you would say, yeah, we do want to take that section out, take that allowance out, that's a substantial change, it would still go back.
There you go.
Then, I'm saying send it back.
And if they decide that meeting, it'll come back in front of us that week.
Well, it'll come back to you for review. The only issue is once a substantial change is made, it
Then we
goes-
gotta resubmit.
just circulates for 30 days. So you'd see it in October, probably.
I'm all for wanting to get it done, but I want to give PC worked on it, let it go back to them and get their recommendation.
I'm sorry to throw a monkey wrench in, but I think it's important to protect those erosion areas and our waterways. Yeah.
Do you need a motion to send it back, right? Would you prefer a motion to
No,
send it?
you don't need
No?
a motion. It's, you wouldn't act on it tonight to advertise. I think you were looking for advertising then to move forward. So you just wouldn't advertise. You would send it back to review the letter, and then it would come back before you again with the recommendation when it's time.
Are you okay, Jason, if we send it back to them and let them review the letters?
Yeah, I guess.
Sue? Okay, let's just,
So just for clarification, it's going back to them for their consideration of the LVPC, not for you requiring them to include it.
Go back in and research that whole thing about the riparian buffers and review that. That's what I would like to have done. I think we're okay with the solar panel, or the solar part of it, yes. Can we approve part of it, or no?
Now, let me ask, on the comment that they made up above in the letter concerning the solar energy systems in the RC district, what's your thought on that? Because if it goes back, the planning commission certainly hadn't included that or hadn't suggested that first. It's coming back to you from LVPC. Is that something that you want them to at least review, or is that something that you don't want the solar energy systems? I'm not sure why it would have been, what the thought was in the resource conservation district. I don't remember. I have the benefit of having a PC member sitting in our audience. Can I ask you, do you remember why the RC district didn't include the panels? I don't remember.
Ground mount.
No, it was actually roof mounted. It was excluded in the,
Except by special exception, I think, is what it says, right?
yeah. They recommended allowing the roof mounted accessory solar systems in the RC district. Was there a reason that was
No,
left
I
out?
don't think that, I don't believe that's correct.
You'd have to
That's
look at
probably
that.
an error.
Yeah, okay.
That makes sense.
And that makes sense, because I don't remember.
I don't remember that.
At the PC meetings, that coming up, so, all right, so then, it would make sense just to have it go back. In other words, I don't remember why we would have left it out of that sitting in a planning commission meeting when they were discussing, and your planning commission member is sitting here as well, and she doesn't recall, so I would say when they go back, have them at least look at that issue. That just needs to be cleaned up if in fact it does say, or it doesn't include it there. The idea was, as I recall it from the PC meetings, was that it was to allow the roof-mounted solar systems in all the districts. It was the
Correct.
ground-mounted that was an issue, that they
Correct.
do want to have some review. They think the zoning board should be reviewing some of those. Okay, so I think if it goes back, as long as, because I would be at the meeting, I could tell them that the concern was to look at that, make sure that that is, you know, that the RC isn't excluded for some reason. That, did we just not see that? And then it would be to review the recommendations in that end paragraph at the first page concerning.
Do you want those sections of the ordinance
Yeah, I
again?
think, are they in the, yeah, let's put them.
So it would be Article 10, but the riparian buffers would actually be that section 1008.
Liz, I think when it goes back, it would be to look at the LVPC letter, it would be to review the RC Resource Conservation District. We'd have to see if it's just a mistake or if they made a mistake. There should be, the idea would be to allow the panels there. And the other issue they would be reviewing then would be Article 10 and Section 1008 concerning the steep slopes for the timber harvesting. It's that issue that, you know, we'll just circle that whole paragraph. They would be looking at that as well.
I mean, they have vegetation management in accordance with an approved landscape plan or open space management plan. Select hazardous or invasive provision for trail tracks. But That's not for, that's not dealing with the timbering. Number 5 would be the timbering, yeah, never mind. Okay,
Are you good? Move on
yeah.
from there? Thank you.
And
Sorry.
the heritage trees mistake, that's been taken care of already from Upper Milford? Or does that have to, do they have to address that also?
They will make that, I mean, since it's grammatical, they will make it, unless, I mean, there's other comments, but,
The grammatical errors.
yeah, Andrea actually already has a draft ready to go with that correction made, because it wasn't otherwise significant or altering.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Good. Next is Jane's Lanes, which I believe we don't have any update, unless you have anything verbal.
No update. The only thing that Jackie was able to offer is that she felt that the homeowners were making more of an effort to communicate with their engineer.
Okay. Thank you. Next, 12, Public Works Equipment and Road Priorities List. I believe we had asked to get more quotes for the safety lighting on the 2 trucks that had no lighting. I believe we had a quote last time from just EM Kutz, if I remember correctly, for the $10,700 for the 2 trucks. It looks like they went and got another quote, subtracting a couple lights from EM Kutz, it's still over 10,000. They got a quote from Levan Machine and Truck Equipment, which was almost 14,000, and then there's a quote from Lehigh Valley Upfitters, which is $7,600, which came in the cheapest. If I remember correctly, there was also a letter. These are the additional proposals for truck safety lighting upfits I've collected for comparison, along with the original one from Kutz. Lehigh Valley Truck Upfitters came in the cheapest out of the 3 for the trucks, based on what Steve showed us when we were there. Actually seems to be better equipment than Kutz or Levan. Kutz has some extra surface mounted warning lights that could be dropped from 8 to 6 in quantity for the 550, and the same for the GMC from 6 to 4. I've highlighted them in the proposal. Could also include a LED work flood lighting for both trucks for additional area lighting, but that is supplemental for the light bars. Levan and LVTU use light bars with work flood lighting in the light bars themselves. Any questions, comments, concerns are welcomed. I know this is something that we've talked about, trying to get the trucks outfitted with the proper lighting, so when they're working on the road, they are done. It is an expense I did not think would be nearly that much, but it's in front of us with 3 quotes, so it is nearly that much. Questions, comments?
So we have, with the Lehigh Valley Upfitters, their pricing is just for 6 lights, correct? Looking at the invoice.
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, that's right, 6 combo LEDs.
Which EM Kutz's for 6 lights was just a hair over $10,000.
Right.
It's disgusting.
I like Lehigh Valley's invoice layout. They at least give you, they pull out the labor costs. The other 2, you couldn't, everything's kind of buried in there.
Have you heard of Lehigh Valley Upfitters?
Never.
They're down in Quakertown.
Yeah, I see that.
So,
They're actually the closest one.
Yeah, and Dan said apparently they, even though they're cheapest, it looks like they use better equipment.
I will tell you that the equipment they use is typically what we use on our equipment at our work, and I can never say it right. Whalen is top of the line for light bars. It's what most cops' vehicles are outfitted with, most fire trucks, ambulances, that's the top of the line equipment.
I happened to ask Leonard when Dan was out, because Leonard's one of those guys that knows everybody and seems to know every business, and he was familiar with them, and he did have good things to say about them.
You did have good things?
Yes.
Who were you saying is using the Whalen? Lehigh Valley Upfitters?
Yeah. Yes. Right? No. Am I wrong?
No, you're wrong.
Nope, I'm wrong. Never mind.
Levan doing that.
I'm looking at the wrong one. That's Levan.
I don't know that they're actually telling you what they're,
Yeah, so it looks like it.
They're using Quantum for,
I don't know what that is. I apologize.
yeah, they're using Quantum.
Ugh, and Levan's the most expensive, but if they're using top of the line.
That is the top of the line equipment.
So the trucks that we're having those installed on, what's the life expectancy as to, because I know we're talking about having some of this stuff worked on. I mean, if they're gonna last, I don't mind investing the money, but if they're on their way out, I don't wanna be putting that kind of money into them.
They're both newer trucks. They shouldn't be disappearing.
F-550's a 2022, according to this.
When you consider our list of all of our equipment that we have and what is going to age out, you know, before other things, these are not high up on the list. Dan and I, in talking, these trucks will be around for a while, so we hope.
And the GMC is a 2021. So 4 and 5 years old.
Which I believe that truck has just been a people carrier for the most part. Not plow or anything like that.
Have we worked with Levan in the past with anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
They're a big company. They've been around for a while, same as Coates. They're normally the ones that, when you see like the utility bodies and the flatbeds on the back, they're the company that builds those, outfits most of those trucks.
Can you look up quantum on there?
I did.
Can you? See what kind of rating they give you?
Do we want to move forward? Do we want to table it for now?
I think we need to move forward on this. I mean, if we table it, what's the thought? Try and get another quote?
No, wait till next year. But I think it's something we do need. It's the safety. The guys should have it on there other than a little stupid light that goes wee, wee, wee on the top.
Right.
Their turn signals are probably brighter than the flasher that's on the top of that truck.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is an important thing that we get it done.
Would one of you like to make a motion?
Well, I
Or-
just, in Dan's letter, it says that Steve, which I'm assuming is from Lehigh Valley Truck Upfitters, he said it appears that they use better equipment than Kutz or Levan. But if Wheelan is the top of the line.
Wheelan has always been top of the line. I don't know Quantum, so I can't speak to it. You ever heard of Quantum?
Wheelan's been around a long time. They are expensive.
I just don't want to be stuck in one of those situations, you get what, or you get what you pay for.
Has anyone in the audience ever heard of Lehigh Valley Upfitters? Know anything?
Is Kutch using Wheelan? Trying to find out what they have listed in here.
I don't think they break it out.
No, I don't see it either.
They do not break it out.
I think if we'd be outfitting brand-new trucks, I'd be a little bit more concerned about having maybe more top of the line. So I think with, 4 or 5 year old trucks, I'd be a little bit more willing to go with, I mean, Dan is saying he thinks it's a better light.
just seeing if I can find any reviews.
Would you like to make a motion on anything?
And this is what AI says. Feniax Quantum Safety Lighting Systems received praise as versatile field programmable emergency and fleet lights featuring industry first 5-color technology. Reviewers and industry suppliers highlight their extreme brightness, customizable software levels, and seamless integration with controllers. Cons, advanced features require software configuration and unlock tiers, which can add complexity to initial setups, if that's the light we're using.
Well, that's something we're paying for is the setup.
And it does have in there, I believe, for 3 colors, the yellow, white, and green, which is green is the new thing for road work.
Highly innovative, bright modular, and built for multi-use emergency, police, or construction fleet applications. That's the pros. You guys are the vehicle experts.
It's got to be done. It
Yeah,
should
I
have been
mean, I
done.
don't- Just which one do you want to go with, and what do you want to spend?
I would be fine with the recommendation. Jason?
Yeah, I'm just looking here. Is Lehigh Valley, I thought I saw it, but is Lehigh Valley Upfitters also taking care of the mud flap issue on the one, on the
Yes.
550?
Yes.
Yes.
It
there's
does.
Saw it,
two
but
of
now
them.
now I don't see it.
Yep, it's down towards the bottom of the invoice. That's the last number 2, it would be, or 4 lines up on your invoice. Mud flaps and mud flap mount strip.
I mean, they're including everything, so.
So Lehigh Valley Upfitters, excellent reputation, 4.8 out of 5. Consistently praised, reviewers consistently praise the shop for its exceptional customer service, professional emergency lighting, custom work truck modifications, and flawless spray-on bedliner installs. Expert lighting installation, celebrated for custom emergency vehicle configurations and superior aluminum enclosed LED compartment strips. Timely turnaround, high professionalism, diverse skill sets.
I'll make a motion to go with Lehigh Valley Upfitters to install the new safety equipment, fix the mud flaps on the 550, and so it'd be the lights for both trucks. Whatever's included in that proposal from Lehigh Valley Upfitters. My motion would be to approve going forward with that proposal.
I second it then.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Next, back to website quotes. I believe we asked Biz to follow up with a couple things. One was the Civic Plus, one was the NA Studios. NA Studios was the local company, if I remember correctly. And yes, it is. I see a local number. Civic Plus was a big company. I think the question was on the payments and how it would work. So Civic Plus, they can set up the agreement where 50% is due upon signing, 50% due upon launch. Otherwise, the total amount would be due upon signing. And their build time is about 15 weeks right now. Maybe be a little bit better idea in September. Civic Plus was a reoccurring cost of $4,664 plus the $2,500 annually for the ADA compliance and an initial start fee of $850. NA Studios was, well, NA Studios also gave us an email and said if they were to make a selection in approximately September on a website designer provider, that was our question, could provide us an estimate on how long to get the website up and running. It'll take approximately 3 to 4 weeks to complete the new website. This is the important part. If you decide to use NA Studios in your September meeting, we would immediately schedule a free photo shoot of Lower Milford. We would understand this would most likely be on next year's budget, so we would already have your photo content and could begin your website as early as January 2027. If not, we would wait till mid-spring to take photos. If you have this in your budget this year, we could start your website as early as October. They do not require any deposit. This is the guarantee that 100% satisfied and your new website is no risk. Once your website has been approved and uploaded, we bill you with standard net 30 terms. So that was the company that included doing photography for the website. They had-
If I can just also add for NA Studios, in addition to their 100% guarantee, they would be providing us with a link that allows the Board of Supervisors and myself, all of the staff, to view the website in the process of them building, and we can provide live feedback that they're responding to before we go live.
That was the one thing that I picked up on, that is a nice added benefit. That you can go ahead and monitor the progress and adjust things, make recommendations or ask about adjustments.
So NA Studios is an initial startup fee of $8,700, reoccurring cost of $22. The ADA compliance is included, although you can upgrade and registered versions for an annual fee of $390 for 100 pages. The maintenance can be upgraded to include maintenance priced at $3,600 a year, but we were told this was negotiable on the township side, the unlimited phone support.
So my question is, if we would go to NA Studios, they provide training, phone support. Can we maintain and through their support manage the ADA compliance on our own without having to worry about that $390 per year fee?
That's a question I could ask. I don't know that our maintenance would affect the ADA compliance if it's something that's already included in the website. It's the more basic version, and I don't understand the difference between a basic ADA compliance or an upgraded one.
And I mean, that's the other thing, you might want to reach out to PSATs. What level of compliance are they expecting municipalities and townships to meet?
They don't even offer ADA compliance, they probably don't even know.
PSATs doesn't even have their websites ADA. I mean, I'm going through this right now with my college class. So, like I said earlier, it's fonts, stuff like that. You're probably gonna have to have closed caption stuff on there. Maybe for our online reviewing, stuff like that, and different things like, I don't know. You might have to have, you're probably gonna have to have a screen reader.
I think you have to have the ability to
application.
change background colors maybe
Yeah.
too, for,
And there's certain fonts and font sizes that you have to use, like Arial is one that is an ADA compliant font. It's not, doesn't have to be, they have a whole list of different ones. And minimum font size of 11 points. But you should have probably a screen reader for those who can't read. There's usually a little icon that you click on and the website page will be read to them. If we post any kind of videos with audio, you're probably gonna have closed caption stuff included and all that, which once they program that in there, you're not gonna have to change that.
Yeah,
You know,
and since I didn't include the full quotes that we looked at last month, there is likely a better description in there on what the base is covering.
And I can't imagine, you know, I mean, there's a push for everything to be ADA compliant right now, but I can't imagine once you upgrade to that point that they're gonna come back in and they're gonna keep changing those compliant parameters, you know, or things that you have to constantly be changing all the time. So that's the thing, I'm like, when they say, oh, upgrade or, you know, to maintain this annual thing, once you have that programmed in there, I don't think you're gonna have to make changes. I don't see, the disabilities, agencies come back out and say, oh, well, we're changing this now. So everybody's gonna have to go in and change to meet these, but you never know.
You hope not, but.
So,
Did either of you look at other townships that had these?
Yeah, I went through their list.
And what did you think?
Civic Plus ones are nice, but so are the NA Studios.
Right.
They both are comparable,
Yeah,
and for the price, the NA Studios is there. The Civic Plus is a startup of $8,500.
No, that's really
with a
expensive.
yearly maintenance fee of $7,000 roughly,
right.
where NA Studios is an upfront cost of $8,700 and a reoccurring cost of $2,198.
And the other plus for NA is they're a fairly local company. I
Correct.
think they're up in Northampton County.
Yes, and like in speaking with him and asking questions, he's very accommodating and wanting to work and please,
And
you
that's
know his
Upper-
customers.
Upper Milford went with NA and gave a good review on that, I believe.
Yes, that's how I found NA was Upper Milford.
did you look at those? I mean, are they pretty user-friendly as far as the layout and everything?
I thought it looked nice. I looked at
Yes.
a bunch of them, because he had listed a bunch of references.
I don't have time to look.
I mean, the fact that they're offering it to us at no cost and. we
And they're
have to
gonna
be-
come out and do photography and stuff too, and photos and stuff, just to get it going, so you have new updated
Right.
pictures, where
I'm sorry,
Civic Plus
it's
is.
not new, it's not free, they're willing to wait until it's all finished for us to pay for it and have to be satisfied with it,
Correct.
which is a pretty good offer.
Yeah, and that we don't even have to put money up front.
So they can start building this and we can have it done for next year and then pay. I hate to spend into next year's budget already, but
I don't know if that's, they're not gonna start building though until January.
So that is one of the ways where he was accommodating and explaining our situation. And I had essentially asked, you know, if we act on it in September, where he said it depends on us and our budget, but his photography season closes November through early spring. So he said if we were to decide in September that we wanted to work with them, but we're not budgeting it, we're not including it in this year's budget, we don't want to pay for it out of this year. He will take the pictures so we don't lose our timeline and have to wait till mid-spring next year to go live. He will take our photos in October and hold on to them, and then he will build the website in January based off of the budget what year budget we want to work within.
So he's still waiting until next year to do it, but yeah.
Yeah, unless we decided that we wanted to do it this year. I know we didn't look at budget numbers this year, but then you can do it right away.
If we do the budget though and have the money in the budget, we could tell them December 1st, hey, can you have it ready for January 1st? Correct? Because we'll have the budget, once we have the budget approved, we could give them the go-ahead.
That's true.
and it's net 30-day terms,
Yeah.
no matter what. If that's the route we wanna go.
I mean, looking at the price and what he's offering, it seems like the best deal unless there's something else out there that we're missing.
Do you wanna do more research? Do you wanna try to find other companies? Do you wanna make a move?
So, the photography, he's traveling through the township taking pictures and what's he doing?
Yes, I think he would ask a member of staff to go with, and if there are any particular locations that we want to point out and have professional photography taken of, we get a say in what he's taking the photos of.
And if we have photos that we want to include, is he willing to accept those too, or?
We can ask. I don't know, it might come to a quality thing. For example, I know a lot of cell phone images, their quality really isn't there depending on how you're working with them, but we could surely ask.
Just curious.
Ask for part of the training because, you want to change things up as far as pictures go. Ask them if that's part of the training, if we go out and we get professional pictures in the future that we want to, because I'm just thinking like on the school district websites, they change them out every couple of months sometimes. They'll take different pictures of different classes and stuff like that.
So
Put them
I
on.
think that you might be thinking, it might be slightly different than what you're thinking. I mean, we could still surely ask that, but like when you look at our website and we have that slide, it's not, the pictures that he's taking are essentially a part of the page's background.
Okay.
And would he update pictures every year, or what's the, I mean, are we stuck with the same pictures for 10 years, or does he come out and take more?
I am not aware of more pictures, but we can ask and see if there's a fee for how regular we would want that updated.
So say we want a picture of Tim up there.
No.
I mean, is that something we provide, or is that something he'd have to come out and take a picture of Tim? I'm just asking, I mean,
So I can give him Tim's address and we'll creep on the street and wait for him to leave the front door, and then we'll get him on there.
I'm just curious. It's actually a serious question. I mean, I'm just wondering, like staff pictures,
So that's likely when it comes to like page, like content design versus, and that's something that I would imagine that we can update versus the actual like structuring of the page, which is not what I can do.
So what you're saying is you'll take the picture of Tim and put it up? Yeah, okay. I feel we should move forward with this. I mean, if we want to wait till September to, do a final check and decide, but I think you did pretty good research on this and gave us some good options. I think the website we have right now is pretty lousy, and it's time for an upgrade. I mean, it served its purpose for a long time, and I don't know when it dates back to, but it's been that way for, I think, quite a while.
You're making a motion?
I was just blabbing, actually.
Okay.
Just tell you my feelings, so. I think we should table it to September and make a decision then. Unless you think we should
No,
move
I'm
forward
thinking
now.
we're in September. My head's a month ahead already, sorry. I'm fine tabling it till September.
Or would you rather have it tonight? I can do either one.
Is there other information or anything that you would like me to get for a September meeting for consideration?
I mean, what do you think, Sue? Are you ready to move on it?
I mean, we're not gonna have the work done anyway, so why not just take the extra month? Because, I mean, we have until we make the decision in September. I mean, he has all of October and November, right, to get the pictures and stuff?
October.
Yeah, and that'll be a pretty time of year anyway to take some nice pictures and stuff of the township. The only thing I was just looking through here included the upgraded registered versions available. If you want to just ask them, to give you more specifics as to what all some of these, like the regular maintenance would actually include.
So are you
The
thinking
maintenance
you-
is listed in the original
Yeah, I
quote
mean,
that
it's
he
priced
gave
up there,
us.
but what's all included in that maintenance?
You want to
Yes,
do the
that is-
maintenance for the $3,600 a year?
No,
He gives a list. In the original quote we looked at last month,
okay. I'll
there
go
is
back
a
and
list
look
of
at
what
that
is
then.
included.
Yeah, I mean, let's-
I'm clarifying something. Do you want maintenance, or do you want to know what the upgraded ADA compliance is?
No, I mean,
Upgraded ADA compliance is $390 a year. The maintenance is
See,
$3,600
that's
a
up to
year.
100 pages, like, I can't even imagine what 100 pages.
But, so you're asking for the ADA compliance?
Yeah, included, though upgraded.
Okay, you kept saying
Registered version.
maintenance, that's the only reason
Well,
I'm
I'm over here too, I'm looking at the regular maintenance, we're going to, I'm assuming we're going to be doing whatever the maintenance is on the website.
Here's
through
what we do
training.
now, which will mostly be, agendas, minutes, things like that, the things that change regularly.
Well, if we're waiting till September, reach out to them too and ask, it said the regular maintenance priced at $3,600 a year, but told it can be negotiable based on township size. We're small, so I would negotiate down.
He did give me a number on that, and I think I noted it in the quote that I don't have. I want to say it was 2,500.
That's still a lot.
It's better than $3,600 though.
I'm hoping we don't need him for the maintenance. I would hope that the website is built so we can maintenance it ourselves.
That's true. That would be free.
Correct.
you-
My intention and hope is that we're not doing any maintenance on it.
Just
That,
get specifics as to what the website training will include.
His training is hands-on. He will come into the office and sit down with anybody working on the website. We will have hands-on training with NA. Civic Plus is going to be all over the it's going to be Teams or Zoom. And Lower Macungie, that's who uses, she got it down eventually, but she did say that it is a lot to
With the
take on it
Civic
for,
Plus.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like the unlimited phone support. There's no charge for any of that, right?
Nope,
Other
it's
than
included.
It's included in the 8,700, yeah. So, I mean, as long as that doesn't change, but, yeah, I mean, we can wait a month. Let's take some extra time and hopefully try to go around and find look at other municipality websites and just do some comparisons. I haven't had time to do that. I'll try and get that done.
all right, so we're gonna table website quotes and we'll revisit in September. Next, we're gonna move on to approving purchasing policy. I believe we looked at this last time, there was a couple questions. The updates are in the lighter font colors.
You can't see, I'm so sorry.
No, you can see that's lighter.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Nope. I scrolled through it looking for green and didn't realize there was no green, so, but I can see it's lighter. I reviewed it. I'm happy with the changes. I don't know if there's comments, questions, concerns.
I'm okay with it. I looked it over.
Yeah, I looked it over too. I think the big things we talked about last time was putting the 24,500. I don't think that amount was in. The only thing I saw, and this was added from last time, it said, general restrictions, card holders should make every effort to avoid additional processing fees. That's what we added in, I think. That wasn't originally.
Correct.
Just, is that clear enough? But it doesn't say that they can't pay the.
Why-
Should the wording, is that clear enough wording? It says they should make every effort to avoid additional processing fees, but it really doesn't give permission, per se. How do you read that, Mark?
Which paragraph, which page are you on? I'm sorry.
I am on, I don't know if I.
9?
9.
Under the general restrictions.
'Cause that was one of the issues we had at the last meeting. It's talking about credit cards with the
So, yeah, I mean, here's my concern. So it says should make every effort to avoid the additional processing fees. At times they're gonna be where they have to do something, they're not gonna have a choice.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about.
So it doesn't say they can't, it just says they should make every effort to avoid. If you don't have to go through with that process, you shouldn't. I think it's fine. I think what
Okay.
you might wanna do though is, you're gonna wanna check to see if you start seeing fees on cards or you just start, we'll look at it again. But I think it's clear, it says you should make every effort to avoid it, and where you can't, you're not gonna have a choice.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was clear enough. That's fine.
I think that's good.
think it gives you enough wiggle room that if it comes down to that, we don't even have to worry about revisiting it and changing it.
If it starts to get abused, it's something that can always be looked at again.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchasing policy as listed in our packet here.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is 15, authorize hiring public works personnel. Do we have any of their resumes in here?
Yeah.
Okay. So I know we have met in executive sessions, we've had tons of discussions over employees. Would anyone like to make any motions with the employees?
Well, in our executive session, we decided,
You don't want to discuss your executive session, you would just want to make a motion on.
I make a motion then to accept the decisions that we made.
And you can announce what that would be. So,
And that would be hiring 2 public work laborers. One is to replace or fill the laborer position. And the other one would be to, instead of hiring an equipment operator, we decided to hire another laborer.
Have you reached out to these potential employees yet?
I have called them, yes, and then they will receive official emails after a motion is made tonight.
But they're both ready to go after they give their,
Yes.
I'm getting them right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's all right. Okay.
So you're gonna have a motion, you need a motion then tonight for the 2 positions, and that was discussed. I wasn't part of that discussion, but there are names that are going to be announced tonight, and you'll make a motion for each position?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we need to make a motion for the approval of those positions?
Is it a labor position?
We
Is
need a
it one?
motion for 2 labor
2 laborers.
positions.
2 labor positions, there you go, if you want to make a motion for each one.
I make a motion to hire 2 individuals for labor positions. The one person named Justin Kane. The second person will be William Hildebeitler.
Vital.
Beidel, sorry. William Hildebeitler.
Do I have a second?
Do we have to put a time frame on it or anything, just as soon as they can start, or?
No, so if your intention would be that as soon as they're able to start, I haven't seen, information on them yet, are they available to be in? Yep, it's fine.
Do we have to include that in that motion, or?
No, it's just that you would make the motion.
Then I'll
that they would
second,
be hired
I'll
as
second
personnel.
Sue's motion.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is road bids.
So, Mark, I had sent you an email on this when this came up, and I don't know if I heard back from you. I know it was a busy time. But Dan with AMS reached out to our Dan, as we are doing a type 2 slurry seal on 2 of the roadways in the Woodlands. And an email from Dan says, after he talked to other Dan, he extended an offer to finish out whatever was left for splitting the cost with us. He did not officially quote everything on it, just informally threw the idea at me, and then that is the email that you have in front of you from Dan Krauthmole. He is saying it only makes sense to do the entire development with the slurry seal, and they would be willing to do it for bill for half of the square yards from what they originally quoted us on in the bid.
So, I'm not sure if I'm understanding, he's changing what he had submitted on the road bids? That we received a bid from him, correct?
Yes, so he is changing the price on a section that we did not accept.
He's given us the one road at half price because we didn't add that, we took that out of the bid that we
It's-
accepted.
Yeah, it's one cul-de-sac. So there's two larger main roads that we did accept. And then there is one small cul-de-sac that was not included because we went over budget in that line. We could take it from another area in state liquid fuels, but because this is something that we bid for, I was not really sure how this falls into our ability to accept.
Yeah, so did others bid on that?
No.
Yeah, we had no other bids on that.
But you didn't accept it at the time?
Correct.
We accepted part of the
We
bid, but
didn't.
not for that one road.
Because we were
Accepted
over
for
budget.
Rosewood and Pin Oak.
Because they had it broken down in the bid by road, I believe.
So what he's
Yes.
doing now is he's coming back and he's saying, all right, you didn't accept that, I'll cut my bid in half.
No, just.
Just for that road we didn't
Yes,
accept.
because Maplewood is part of the development that these are also in. So we decided not to do Maplewood. It's a smaller road. We didn't have the extra funding at the original price that he was quoting us. So now he's coming back and he's like, you know, if he's in there doing this, he would be willing to go in and do the whole development and charge us this amount to do Maplewood, which is half the price of what he quoted us in his initial bid.
And that half the price would be for Maplewood Drive.
Yes.
Correct.
And it'd be
We
40,
would-
it'd be 4671, so I would imagine that first price was like 9,000 some dollars
I
for
think so.
Maplewood. So it's a nice savings, it's,
I think so. And so the oil and the seal coating has taken place, not a part of this roadway. But then the slurry seal, which would affect what he is offering, was estimated for mid-September.
Why is he being so nice?
Because they're there. At that point, it makes sense just to do it. They're already set up.
Did he quote it on that, knowing they were gonna be there anyway?
Yeah. But he also knows he's probably the only one that's quoting it or bidding it.
and we were doing this to see how it held up, so I think when we didn't take that one road, we were saving money, but we were also saying we could compare how
Mhm.
Maplewood held up compared to the other roads that had it done, so. Takes that factor out of it, actually.
Because it needs to be bid, it was rejected, and then he comes back later. That's concerning me. It had to be bid, and it was rejected.
No, it was rejected because of budget constraints.
Yeah, no, I understand.
yeah.
The fact is, it's opened, it's reviewed, it's rejected. So then the question is, he comes back at a lower price, but he's now outside of technically we're outside of the bid.
But there was no one else that bid, so there's no one else that can say, hey, what about me?
And your other option is to go out and rebid Maplewood
Mhm.
and have them come back at $9,000, $9,200.
Which is still under. Correct. So it wouldn't actually even have to go out to bid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of,
I guess first of all,
Catch-22?
do we have the money to do the extra $4,600?
I think so. I mean, we can pull it from other areas. I went through and highlighted a whole bunch of
So
stuff.
out of state liquid fuels, and I'm not looking at the profit and loss, I'm looking at the budget itself, but I think regarding the maintenance and repair highways, bridges, so that's, it's the line right above contracted services. I think we are only at 5% of that budget this year. So we could absolutely get money from there.
well, let me tell you this, and that's obviously an issue you're gonna have to look at, is how do you budget for it? My concern is that it was bid, it was rejected, and now he comes back and slips something in, and I'm concerned about under the bidding requirements. Can you do that? And I can't answer that tonight. I wish I could. I wish I could give you a specific response. I can't.
We probably need an answer fairly fast for him.
Yeah.
Well, mid-September it would be.
When's he going out?
All I have is mid-September. I'm not aware of a date.
So at this point, he would go out and he just wouldn't do Maplewood unless I come back to you and I say, yeah, based on the bidding requirements, how you set it out and what was done, you could accept it. If I come back to you with that, he could still do with that.
Because she could individually pull the board. If you come back and tell us it's good, she can individually pull the board, and then we just, it's actually below our purchasing policy.
Just
where
ratify it at your next meeting. Yeah.
we know
So-
we would have to.
General services, highways and streets, I'm not sure if that's the correct category. Capital purchases as of the end of the month, profit and loss. We have budgeted $150,600. We've only used $97,717 out of that, which is 65% of that budgeted amount. So, I mean, we've got $53,000 to play with if it comes out of there. But that's capital purchases. I'm just saying, there's money there.
Can you look into it and,
Yeah, I'm making a note now. I can come.
But how much is this gonna cost for Mark to look into? Sooner half price slurry seal
Less than
isn't,
if you get sued because you didn't follow the bid requirements.
but still, I mean, we should just drop it altogether though, if that's the case. I mean,
Well, if you can get it done, it's up to you. I mean, I'll
At-
take the
at-
direction on that. I
at
understand.
$4,600, Mark's not cheap, no offense. This could cost us more to research it than we're actually saving.
I think we do a quick research. Just
Yeah.
do a quick research and then get an email, hopefully. Let's just make sure.
Who would sue us?
Yeah, we don't have
Anybody
any
could.
other-
Anybody.
We don't have any other bids, though.
Doesn't matter, anybody could sue you for not following the bid process.
But we did follow the bid process.
You reject it.
We didn't reject it, we just didn't accept that part of it.
Well, that's.
That's
there was an
rejecting.
open period, it was, now that's ended, I'm concerned. And Jason, honestly, I don't mean to be difficult, because I don't wanna have the township spend more money than it needs to spend $9,000 to do it, but I can't tell you tonight that, yes, you're okay under the requirements, how you bid it, how it was not accepted. Now we're outside that time period, and he comes back and he's negotiating. That's not, so something just doesn't sit right, I would wanna check.
Do you want to scrap it all, or you want to have them look?
I'm only one person up here, you don't have to look at me. You got somebody here? you
What's
got
your
yourself-
opinion? I'm gonna ask hers then. What do you want to do? Scrap it all or have Mark look?
How much would a quick review cost us from your end?
It's not gonna cost you $4,671, I can tell you that, if you cut it in half, that shouldn't, it won't take that long.
You're still saving $2,000 if we wait. I make a motion for Mark to look it over, get back to us right away, poll us, and then we'll get back.
I don't think we need a motion, but
Well,
I know, Jason, you don't want that, but just tell me if that's something you want, and I'll get on it.
I would second her motion. And I would be fine having Mark just look at it quick and find out.
as long as you're not over $2,000.
It's gonna be not to exceed.
All right, we good, move on? And then whatever Mark finds, we can, if it's in our favor, she can individually pull the board and we could ratify later.
Yeah.
Good? Good. You threw me off when you said road bids in there. all
Technically,
good.
that's where it fell under. That's why it was old business. I'm sorry.
Maplewood curbing is next on our list. We have nothing in front of us because we didn't get it. So we went back and forth with Maplewood. Jim Tobin had reached out to me that they found a contractor that would fix the Belgian block curbing and island, and I believe there's one piece of masonry out there that had to be fixed. They got a quote for $1,050 to have it fixed. We can have them fix it and let them deal with it all, and let the HOA pay it? Do we want to have them just deal with it? Do we want to pay the contractor? How do we want to do it? It was $1,050. Mark, is there an issue with them, the HOA just paying and having their curbing fixed that our plows broke and us reimbursing them?
What was the amount?
$1,000, that $1,050.
No. Because if you're gonna do it yourself, you're gonna, no, it's not an issue.
Do we have the HOA pay it and we reimburse the HOA, or do we have the contractor bill the township?
Well, if the contractor's gonna bill the township, then you should be signing something approving his work to do it.
Okay.
Does he have a letter or a letter quote or something, anything you can have?
I believe Jim Tobin has it.
Yeah, I would get it and then have him, if he has to, just have him address it to the township to fix it.
So not have the HOA do it and us reimburse HOA? Okay.
Yeah, I think we should just have it fixed. Do you feel, is there some reason that if you think this, just make sure that the person who's doing it is insured, because if they damage it and we damage HOA property, then.
Well, it's township property
It's
technically.
It's a road, yeah. Yeah, it's just the curbing.
Yeah. It's Belgian block that the plows hit last year.
No, just have them send it to us and then just have, the township should just sign off and have them do it.
Okay. Good, next. New business, certificate of deposit mature, from Wendy to 181-day CDs from Pliget, matured July 27th. Total amount is $499,720, which was earning 3.85%. Market interest rates are currently rising at a very slow pace. Federal Reserve appears to be reluctant to implement aggressive height rates. However, Pliget term from August 4th posting shows improved options. 180-day term at 4.05, which was updated on 8/17 to 4.01. 365-day term at 4.28, which was updated to 4.20. I recommend reinvesting the full proceeds into a 365-day term. Please include this on your agenda for Board of Supervisors meeting so we can discuss strategy and move forward taking advantage. Are you guys okay with her recommendation of putting the $499,720 back into a 365-day Pliget term at 4.2%?
Fine.
Can I have a motion for Wendy to do that?
Questions? No? I make a motion for Wendy to go ahead and roll the CD over into a new 365-day term CD at the interest rate of, well, she has quoted here, it's 4.20%.
Correct. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Want me to do the next one?
Next what?
Just make a motion, or are you gonna read it? There's two of them. There's different interest rates.
Are you talking about the second memo?
Yeah.
So that was the memo that Wendy originally provided. The top page was her updated numbers.
Oh, so, okay, never
So-
mind.
Yeah, so she just she didn't expect major changes from when she first provided that, but I did ask for an update closer to the supervisor meeting, so that's what that top page is.
Okay, sorry.
Next in front of us is a demolition permit for Class 2 Historic Resource 3 outbuildings located at 8025 Spinnerstown Road. It did go in front of the Historic Board. Their minutes are in front of us. They recommend, yeah, the approval with conditions. There are conditions where photographs must be taken of the interior, exterior buildings prior to demolition. The I can never say it. Hewn beams and historical wood hinges and hardware to be salvaged. Any architectural antiques, organizations, or appropriate resources to be located to preserve and repurpose the historical items. So that was their approval with conditions. It comes to us. Nope, jump in, please.
So, as Andrea had reached out to me on this one, and This is a property that's been, I'll simply say, it was involved in litigation with the township over many years. It was before my time, but there are several settlement agreements. There are some, they involve the nitrates testing on the property that's still ongoing. When the Historical Commission gave their recommendation, Andrea said it would be coming before you. I said to her, send me the agreements that she had in the file, because I went through and I looked at them. The issue that I was looking at was, were they gonna be adding anything? Doesn't look to be that they're adding anything. The reason it was a concern is it's all throughout the agreements. They were up against their impervious coverage on the property, and it's been, they'd been back and forth before the zoning board, the PC, and then there were issues concerning the nitrates, the plume on the property, and they're still testing to this day. So the concern I had was, were there any plan notes or anything that any of the restrictions on the removal of any structures, certainly addition of any structures, that would have to be looked at in terms of impervious? I didn't see anything in the documents that Andrea sent over. In other words, I'm not overly concerned at this point for removal. If they were coming to you saying, you know, we want to, and obviously the historic issue has been reviewed as well. So I just wanted to tell you that I did look at the agreements. There was a stack of them came over today, and I don't see anything that gave me reason for concern about them removing these structures.
Do we have a concern as far as the land development?
We're good with that. You're satisfied with the land development plan that showed all the buildings and all that on there, even though they're pre-existing buildings?
Yeah, well, I said to Andrea, I asked her specifically to take a look at the plan today. I did not look at the plan. I asked her to look at the plan and look at the plan notes to see, was there any restriction on anything, you know, did they say there was something that shouldn't be removed for whatever reason? She said there's nothing on the plan. Historic Commission did look at it. So the only issue is they would be, as they're saying, cleaning up the property, but it would be reducing the impervious coverage somewhat if they removed these few small buildings.
So actually, I mean, there is this one. There is another demolition permit that's not coming in front of the board because it doesn't follow the historic process for a number of greenhouses that he's also taking down.
He's removing greenhouses as well?
Yes, and they are following the traditional demolition process through Cowan because they don't fall under the historic resource list based on their age.
Is there any impact on the wells on the property? I don't know where they are, but there are certain wells that they're still running tests.
I couldn't answer that question, but I'm also not aware that those tests remain since Dan Shantz no longer owns the property. I actually think they stopped a year or two before they went bankrupt.
Yeah, we had this discussion earlier, that they quit, and then for some reason, it wasn't in the money's in escrow, and the well testing was not part of the sales agreement or whatever, and so the new buyer wasn't aware of the testing, and so therefore, when they bought it, the testing of those wells did not continue. We have like a 2 or 3 year time gap of the testing, because they didn't know that that was an agreement.
I thought they had come back again and submitted tests because they were asking for a refund of escrows back.
Shantz was, but the new owners aren't. So for us to know what the condition of those wells are, we don't, because they have not continued to keep testing them.
Is he still operating greenhouses now?
No, I mean, the new,
I believe he is intending to, but on a much smaller scale. And this is the new property owner, Goodness Gardens.
But there are greenhouse uses still with, okay. I'm gonna have to look at that, but, again, certainly removal, I don't have a concern. It's if they're adding. There should be some check to make sure that the wells that are there, because I don't know the circumstances under those yet, they shouldn't be damaged. But removal of structures would be less impervious coverage on the property.
now the testing beforehand, I think we looked over, and
It's still
it
high.
did not one of them, but I think most of them, the levels did not exceed what EPA thresholds were. But they fluctuate, like, yeah.
They were just never able to show that the consistent two-year decrease.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they either were fluctuating or it was never consistent, so that's why it was still an issue. Let's just be sure they don't damage the wells, because until I would go back and look at that issue, I just don't want them to be ripping out wells or something like that. Because there are agreements in place with the township that say they remain and they should be looked at.
So we're.
Do you want to
tabling this?
review the plans before we make any motion on this?
In terms of,
The demolition of the historic structures? Would you like more time to review, or are you comfortable if the board moves ahead with?
The only thing I would want to see is where the wells are on the plan. I mean, I can look at that. Do you want to,
But I guess I'm not, what do the wells have to do with taking down the buildings?
because if they damage the wells, you have agreements in place that there are tests that it still is, the agreements I read say that tests are supposed to be done. So if they take down the structures and they damage the wells, they can't be doing tests.
But I don't think the new owners are aware that those wells need to be tested, because they weren't part of that agreement.
At this
and it
point, they do
wasn't.
have those agreements. They're not necessarily under the impression that they apply to them now, but they do have copies of them.
Okay.
But do we know that there's wells involved with these buildings at all?
That's where I don't know that, Jason, that's what I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, typically, farm buildings like this didn't have a well in them, so that's what I'm just a little confused and concerned there, but.
Well, they
Okay.
installed test wells as a result of litigation with the township, so they went in and they actually, from what I understand, Jason, from when I read the agreements,
Yeah.
it looks like they actually put test wells in. It's not like a well that was on the property and they're actually being tested. It wasn't like water wells that they're testing.
But
They installed wells.
if they installed wells, these are historic buildings, so they were there for quite some time. They wouldn't have moved the building, drilled the well.
I don't
drilled the
know,
well.
I don't know where the well is. Is it sitting next to it? Is it, I don't know where the wells are.
Well, if you look at what it says here, that they're going to remove them by hand, they're not like bringing in big equipment to do it, they're taking it apart with us. This work will be performed by our experienced in-house maintenance staff using equipment we already own and operate on the farm. The structures will be dismantled manually with sawzalls and hand tools, loaded into dumpsters for disposals, and post-removed with a skid steer or similar farm equipment.
Yeah, I think that's why the historic
We're
commission
not,
said they'll
we're not
save it.
proposing any grading, excavation, or site development. It's limited to removing the existing structures.
Yeah, and I think that's why the historic commission said they'll preserve the hand-hewn beams, that type of thing, because they're gonna do it by hand. I can't tell you about the greenhouses, though, I just don't know. They're large buildings, have you seen them? They're big.
So, but I mean,
But
can we,
so now you're talking two different things here.
Yeah.
That's not what we have on our agenda, is greenhouses. We have the three other buildings.
The three small buildings,
No, I-
historic buildings, yeah.
And where's the other permit? Do I not have that, or is that?
It will not come before the
Doesn't come to
board.
us.
Because it doesn't,
understand.
so I brought it to your attention in mentioning here with this one, that they are going to remove some of their impervious area. I'm mentioning that it is actually going to be greater affected than what you have in front of you tonight.
Okay, and that's not an issue for us, because it didn't go to, it's not the historical issue.
Correct.
I'm fine,
okay,
I'm fine.
I guess my concern is who's taking the photographs? Who's making sure that their hand-hewn beams and historical wood hinges and hardware are salvaged? What, do we have a leg to stand on to actually enforce that?
It would be the applicant, they actually made the, is this person Goodness Gardens and the owner.
But can we stipulate that with our approval?
You should, yeah, you should adopt the recommendation of the historical commission. So that would then become your approval. Now, in terms of looking at it, somebody could go out and say they'd like to see it, so that obviously they're not taking the stuff and selling it or something like that, that if they're gonna maintain the, what they're recommending here. You
So
can ask.
they can't sell these beams?
No, I think they can sell them, they just said they're to be salvaged. I just think you don't want them ripping them down and destroying them. You know, I remember years ago, we had someone, there was barn, and they came in and they started ripping down their barn, and the township found out and said, stop, and we stopped them from doing some of that, I'll say, removing down to the foundation. This would be something that, you know, it's gonna be, they've been told to preserve them as best they can, salvage them. I mean, if something's breaking as they're taking it down, you can't hold them responsible for it, but they're asking them to preserve the hand-hewn beams, salvage them, and take them
Yeah,
to
I
sold.
understand that, but I'm saying, who's enforcing that? Who's somebody, who's the responsible party there that makes sure that they do that? Now, before I vote to say, yes, this is what we're doing, I want to know, do we really have a leg to stand on?
No.
Could make, if you wanted to, you could make a motion to accept their demolition permits and ask that they take the recommendations of our historic commission. But we don't have a leg to stand on. We have no one to sit there and watch them tear it down and make sure they're saving every nut and screw.
And again,
and
who's
beam.
taking the photographs?
We could ask them to take the recommendations of them, that's all.
Well, and once it's photographed, you know, what happens to those photographs?
They didn't say.
I'm not trying to be difficult.
No, I know.
I'm just, you know, I hate voting for something that is unenforceable.
Correct.
So let me ask you something, if the, so if the motion was to grant the permit conditioned on, and it would be accepting the recommendations of the historical commission, you know, dated, was it August 3rd, and that the applicant, upon taking the photographs, would provide copies to the township. You could ask them to give them to you, and that way you'd always have a historical record, you could do that. I don't know how you're gonna, you know, unless someone's gonna stand there and watch, you're not gonna know that they're actually salvaging each hand-hewn
Yeah.
beam. That's not something we would have.
And where do we start and stop? If we have somebody, and I know there's barns in this township that are falling down, you know,
Yeah.
do we say that, hey, you have to go in there and save that hand-hewn timber that's in those barns? You know, where's the limit of what we can do?
And I thought if it's a historical thing, they can't touch the barns. They gotta just let them fall
Now, we have,
according to nature.
I think there's an ordinance we have that,
It's in the zoning.
yeah, it limits the, they have to, it can be enforced. It's in the zoning ordinance, yeah, it can be enforced.
So the zoning officer works
Yeah.
to enforce.
They're not allowed to,
zoning.
that was the issue when the guy started to take his barn down. And we went out right away and the zoning officer issued a cease and desist. And he actually had to build part of that back, if I remember. He put half the top of the building back on.
No, he put trusses across the top and put a metal roof over it,
Yeah.
just to make they
That's
saved the
over.
foundation.
Oh.
To save the
lots.
foundation.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
so
right
he
here.
ripped down the
Yeah.
foundation, but,
That's where,
It was
So-
the Howard one.
yeah.
that was it, yeah. So they're not allowed to just allow it to fall into disrepair. Which is happening, by the way, outside of your township. I pass two barns.
It's happening in our township.
Falling into the ground. It's a shame.
It's happening in our township.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and
But just let
Our
the
zoning does say you can't let them fall apart by neglect.
I know, but it happens all the time.
I know.
Well, just to make sure Andrea knows, she can go out and take a look, and then she can issue an enforcement notice.
And who pays for that repair then? The township?
The owner.
And what if they can't afford it?
Well, we'll cross that bridge, Jason, when we come to it. I don't know. Haven't had that happen yet.
I mean, are there requirements that it has to be restored to original condition, or what's
I
the?
just think it can't fail due to neglect. It can't collapse. That's the thing. So maybe if let's say they don't have a roof on it, they might have to put a roof on it. If a beam is broken, they might have to at least support it, those types of things. I'd have to look at the zone. I remember when they got adopted, it was, or at least it was amended, I can't remember, it was years ago, but it's set forth pretty clearly as to what the requirements are. You're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. If someone comes in and they're saying, yes, we'll preserve it this way, I don't think the township is gonna look and say you're violating the ordinance.
So then basically we can't approve this because there's a zoning ordinance that dictates.
No, we can approve it.
No, you can approve this one. This isn't, these are not historical structures, or they're saying they looked at them, they're only asking these to be
They are historic.
They are
They
historic.
do
That's what I'm
qualify
saying.
under the historic resources. That's
Right.
why it's coming to the board.
Yeah,
But no, they fell under the ordinance, that's what they looked at. They looked at the ordinance and it was they looked at the section of the ordinance that applied.
It's a catch-22. You can't let your buildings fall by neglecting to file for a permit to take them down. Right?
And we're also not really enforcing neglect either.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a neglect issue. You don't have total restrictions on historic. You have class, I think it was 1, 2, and 3 or something.
This is a class.
1 and 2, the majority is 2. There's 3, maybe,
Yeah.
class 1.
Yeah, I thought so. So there's various restrictions. It's not as strict as to all. There's different restrictions to each.
Would anyone like to make a motion or act on anything on this?
The wheels are still spinning.
what's that?
I said the wheels are still spinning in your head.
If you're okay with it, Jason, and you're fine with them coming down, you don't have to.
There is also, I don't have the zoning ordinance in front of me. I think it's a 30-day, maybe 45-day period where you have to review it. So if you do have some time, we could put it on the workshop if you wanted time, if that's what you're looking
No,
for.
I think to wait on this. I'm just, I mean, I haven't personally looked at these buildings, but, you know, you gotta be able, so,
But that's where Andrea comes in. That's her job.
yeah, I know. I realize that. I think the conditions are a little difficult. And I guess we'd make the recommendation if they can't.
We don't have to accept their recommendation, Mark, correct? They're only advising.
No, there's a recommendation.
I mean, if they tear them down and put the beams on pile to give to an organization, I mean, you let those beams lay there for a little bit in the rain, they're gonna be wasted.
I think a very similar thing happened with Wasser Road, is they had a recommendation for saving what they could, but we were in the same boat. We were able to make it, and that's where it sits. What I do actually happen to know that the property owners have reached out to historic entities to be willing to work with them. That's just because I have communications with her about other things. It's not that we're enforcing it.
And were they able to accomplish anything on that property with?
Nobody has gotten back to her, and I don't know that they have taken action with the demolition yet.
I mean, I'm concerned, and I mean, I know it's 8:44 at night, and we don't really want to be wasting time on this, but I'm concerned about making conditions on property owners that are going to be hard to accomplish.
I agree.
And, you know, added cost and I mean, looking at these pictures of these historic buildings, I don't know that they're that historic. I think there's been probably a lot of change done to them over the years.
Why don't we do this? I don't recall, you know, I wasn't part of the commission's meeting, but there may be under the zoning ordinance, those sections may say that in order to qualify, you have to do the following. That's why, Jason, they might have set forth those conditions. Are you having your work session?
Most likely.
You think you'll need it for like budget discussion, that type of stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, what I would recommend is Andrea should just take a look at that section of the zoning ordinance and just be sure that for whatever class buildings these were under the permit, they didn't fall within something, I mean, they're very specific in terms of what they're asking for. That could be in your ordinance, that's why.
I don't believe it is. I've read that historic.
You don't think it's.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
So anybody can apply for the demolition of
Yeah.
it for consideration, and there is a list of items that is asked for a submission. One of them is, have you considered alternative options? And I don't necessarily know that that question was answered in the email that we have.
I mean, I'm not against historic buildings. I'm all for them. I own a historic house, a barn and a mill. I mean, and they're in pretty good condition. I've put a lot of money into them. But I feel in a case like this, we're putting conditions on a property that it's gonna be hard to achieve for the owner. I've looked at a lot of historic documents over the years. I read a lot of local history. I don't know that photographs of these three buildings have any significance at all. And I'm just opposed to putting qualifications on this that seem to me to be kind of ridiculous at some. If this owner wants to save these beams, if they have value, I'm all for that, but I don't like to lock him into something.
Are there actually hand-hewn beams in these buildings?
I couldn't tell you that. I can just, earlier this year, when I was acting as interim, we got, I think, 3 historic demolitions in a row, and I had never dealt with one in my time here, so I did have to look at the zoning ordinance, and as far as I'm concerned and what I'm looking at, he has met what he needed to submit his application. It's really just up to, at this point, the Board of Supervisors for approval or denial at your discretion. I agree also with Jason about some of those stipulations. I acted as the Historic Commission Secretary for 2 years, I think. So I was there when they were making some recommendations on what they'd like to see for historic structures, and it's interesting to think some of the things that we want to require people to do, like want to require them to do, but how do we do that? I agree it's restrictive.
Why are you looking at me, Tim?
Just looking that way.
Okay.
Your glasses
You're
make you
looking
look
at-
smarter, that's why.
I don't know about that tonight.
My opinion is I'm fine with the demolition of them, with Mark thinking that everything was, saying everything was good with the land development, seeing there was nothing in there. I would be fine with an approval of it. And if the owner wants to take the recommendations of the historical board, have at it. But it's a recommendation.
Okay.
I didn't make a motion, I'm just saying that's what I would be happy with.
So the 3 things listed would just be a recommendation, and there's no stipulation that it has to actually happen.
Correct.
So with the board's approval or disapproval, but if you approve, it gives Andrea automatic authorization to issue the zoning permit for demolition. And when I inform her of the board's recommendation, I can tell her to make sure she clarifies it is simply a recommendation.
I wish the historical board had better meeting minutes.
Yeah.
Because it says Donna Wright was present to provide recommendations regarding the property, but doesn't say anything of what Donna Wright recommended or did not recommend, or what
Right.
her thoughts were. Donna Wright has a lot as
Ag preserve.
correct,
So that's what I'm wondering.
but we don't know what Donna said, but the board recommended it, that their meeting minutes unfortunately are a joke. They give us nothing.
I did provide to them what minutes should look like, and we continue to get what you have in front of you.
And this is why it's hard to take a historical board serious.
I mean, you can just say that you approved the demolition permit and that they would take into consideration the recommendations.
There you go.
Go ahead and make your motion.
I make a motion to go ahead with the permit for the demolition at 8025 Spinnerstown Road, and that they would take into consideration the conditions that the historical board presented in doing so.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Next is preliminary budget discussions. I will leave this 100% up to you guys. Do we want to skip this and save this for a workshop meeting? Do we want
Yes,
to hit this
it's getting
tonight?
too late. No.
Let's skip it and wait for the workshop meeting.
We're going to save this for a workshop. Moving on, notice from Pennsylvania Department of Labor Law. So there was an LSA grant that was applied for Lineport Stadium. Since it will be, the monies will be paid to the township will be paying the bills. Basically, it's a notice saying that if they spend over $25,000, that they will have to do it as a rate job. Tom was also made well aware of that. And
I thought the bid though came in under 25,000.
correct, but their grant was, I believe, for more. But
Because of the amount of the money that the grant is awarded for, and speaking with the state, regardless of how much they actually end up paying, it has to be prevailing wage because of how much grant money they are approved for. And I don't believe that Tom responded to my email. I CC'd both of you on that, which mentioned both the prevailing wage as well as the bidding process. He provided 3 quotes, but only one of them noted prevailing wage. The other 2 did not mention it specifically.
I think the one was under 24,000, so under 25,000, so he was under the impression that it would not have to be. But you're saying that they're saying because the amount was over, no matter what, it's gonna have to be that.
Yes.
He indicated the woman he was working with did not communicate it that way.
Can we just scan this and send it to him, unless you already did?
I don't know if I did, but I will make a note.
Do we need
Thank
to
you.
do anything with that?
Nope, just a notice.
Okay.
Next, this discussion on recording live stream planning commission meetings. I know this is something that has been discussed. We have the equipment. Do we want to start with planning commission starting to use our live streaming? We have a zoning officer now that we can teach and show how to use the equipment that is at the meetings.
I think it's a good idea. We try to be transparent, and we've had good reception on our meetings as far as people watching. It helps them to become more informed in the township, so why not?
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, ma'am?
Mark, you, at one of our planning commission meetings, discussed this with the planning commission members. And the board of supervisors meeting is a business meeting. You don't entertain the same kind of interaction with developers, attorneys, as the planning commission does. And I know, Mark, you had indicated that it would memorialize the interaction and could come back to bite us. And it probably would not be a good idea. Now, I wanted to know, as a planning commission member, has that really been thought through?
Yes,
Are we
100%.
opening ourselves up for liability?
It's a public meeting,
Well, yeah, that's right, it's a public meeting.
so it should be available to the public,
Well, then why don't they come and sit here if you're interested?
because some people have lives and can't,
Well,
unfortunately.
if they sat through it, then they don't have a life.
I disagree. I would have loved to see what happened at your last planning commission meeting, but unfortunately, fortunately in life, I have 2 wonderful kids, and correct. And my family also, my family also comes involved with that, and I had to make a decision at night because I I give a lot to this township also. I'm here, I also work a full-time job and run other stuff. I would have loved to know what happened at the last meeting. Unfortunately, I couldn't. We're trying to be as transparent as possible.
I'd like to hear from the solicitor
So,
what the pros and cons are.
so we've already talked with that. We don't have to provide that to you.
Public, I'm the public, and I
Correct.
would like to hear it.
So we've already discussed this with the solicitor. So, and essentially,
That's not a legitimate
what are you
discussion.
scared of hiding at a planning commission meeting that you don't want at public?
You have had people say they are gonna quit.
Okay?
You realize that? They
Trans,
said, I don't wanna be on the World Wide Web.
okay. Unfortunately, you are everywhere you go anywhere. So,
No, I don't think any other planning commission in this whole county.
you'd be 100% incorrect. 100% incorrect.
All right, which one?
Upper Macungie.
I think Upper Country is a whole other ball.
Hold on, you just said no other township in this county? Is Upper Macungie in our county, and are they a township?
Is that the only one?
No. But you asked for one, and I just gave you one. I'm not gonna entertain this anymore. Thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
You owe an explanation.
I just gave you an explanation.
How can
We
you
are trying to be
discuss it?
transparent.
How are you
Stop.
discussing it behind closed doors?
No,
You sure didn't discuss it in public.
I called the solicitor, and I said, hey, what if we decided to start doing this more with the other commissions?
But you said we discussed it.
With Mark, we have discussed it.
How about the other two? You're not?
I didn't discuss it with anyone, Helen, but I believe "we" refers to Mark and Tim.
And we, as a board, in the beginning of the year, talked
I
about
can't speak for
it.
Sue, but I know I wasn't in that discussion.
I wasn't in the discussion, but I know a lot of our residents appreciate the fact that we have been live streaming. It helps keep them informed. They said with with all the other commissions,
They'll
so.
watch it once and then they'll decide they'd rather poke a needle in their eye.
Then they won't watch it again.
I think the question was, is it a legal problem in the future, since everything will be documented, that developer's proceeding.
So why wouldn't you hold that developer?
Let me finish, can I finish?
Yes, sorry.
Another one, and pretty soon one says, no, wait a minute, you made me put in curbing, but not the other guy, and they can literally go through all this stuff and use it against the township.
So don't you-
That was the question.
You can also write to know that information, though. If developers want to compare that way, there's absolutely options for them.
In a right to know.
I'm sorry?
Minutes that are only partial records.
Any development plan would show what the other developer just did.
Right, but they won't know why.
So you're trying to hide something then? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you've said it all. You've said it for years.
Correct.
Did you see anybody hiding anything?
Then why can't it be recorded and why can't it be public knowledge?
Because of
Because
the
it's
legal
ridiculous.
problem.
There's no legal problem with that. If you do it,
Why we wanted to hear from the solicitor.
if you do it for that developer, why can't you do it for the next developer?
The solicitor talk.
Already advised the planning commission it
It's
wasn't
not a
a
good
good
idea.
idea.
I believe that's incorrect. But if it was recorded, we would know the correct answer.
Mark is right there.
Tim, let Mark speak.
Ellen, I've discussed this with Tim.
All right,
This
how
is-
about everybody
thi-
else you
this
discussed
is-
it with?
This is, you know, you raise the issues of you give one to one, something to one, not something to another. That's why I always, on the SADO waivers, I say I need to know the reason, so that when it goes into the letter, it says it's waived because. The SADO waivers are specific to a property, that's not something
And
that's.
that's not that you're doing anything wrong, but you raise questions, and we all know anybody can file a complaint with court. I mean, they can file a complaint because they don't like the way you look. So, we would open the door to have more litigation than is necessary for the sake of nothing, because it is the most painful to sit here and go, you sat here, Jason, and it is.
And that's the key
like
point.
watching grass
I
grow.
sat out there and watched. You didn't lock the door and not let me in. What's the difference between somebody sitting at home and watching it on a video or me sitting out
Wait a
there?
minute, who locked you out?
Now I'm making a point, Ellen. What my point is, I sat out there where you're sitting right now for a planning commission numerous times. You didn't lock the door, you let me in. It's a public meeting.
You were interested.
And if I was interested and it was available on YouTube, I might have sat at home and watched it on YouTube and saw the same thing that I saw sitting right where you're sitting now.
You people deliberate behind closed doors. Planning commission has to deliberate right in the public.
We don't deliberate behind closed doors unless it's
Sure
something
you
with
do.
personnel
When you have a
or
no
litigation.
problem, you deliberate behind closed doors.
Personnel and litigation, correct.
No, that's executive. Conditional uses, you go in the back and talk about it before you come back out and announce it.
Correct, we discuss it.
Yeah.
No decisions are made.
Well, that's deliberation.
What other townships do you know? I know Lower Macungie has their planning commission up.
It's not a township. I know City of Easton does theirs. I believe City of Bethlehem does theirs. I haven't gone through every township and looked. I know a lot of townships are starting to get into live streaming. Not all of them are.
I mean, I realize people's being uncomfortable with it. I mean, I sit up here and I think, what stupid thing did I say that's out there for posterity? As anybody knows, I say a lot of stupid things. So I understand that concern.
You must see the difference, though, between the two types.
I don't really, because I could sit out there and
I can sit out there as an audience with
with my phone and record
FaceTime.
that planning commission, correct? If I sat out there with my phone up recording,
Yeah, are you gonna put it on YouTube?
I could, 100%.
but that's the thing, you could.
You could. Yeah.
I could come here if I wanted to and sit there with my phone on a tripod in front of the board and broadcast it to Facebook and record it to YouTube.
You're gonna stifle conversation.
That's a big word. I don't know what it meant.
Okay.
What does stifle mean?
You're gonna limit it.
You're gonna limit it.
Limit
Oh,
it.
Thank you.
They're not gonna be willing to be as open and freely discuss things because they feel it's.
It hasn't stopped you guys from deliberating
Hasn't stopped
in
us.
public.
You're having a business meeting.
We have some hard discussions up here.
Whether or not a developer is approaching something correctly, or why they should do something. And we get some real humdingers sometimes.
Yes, you do. But you know what? You might also intrigue a lot of people from the public to come sit here too also.
Oh, well, 40 years, they could never come. I don't think they're gonna start now.
Maybe they'll watch online though and enjoy it.
Oh, sure. Our
They may not.
population has really grown,
Well, then if
like
they,
Lower Mac.
So if they
that's
don't, they're not gonna
a
watch it and it's not an
problem,
issue.
They're not gonna watch it, then it shouldn't be an
Now,
issue.
what's the
Well,
point?
that's not the argument.
The
What-
I mean,
point,
we had 19 people watch the Board of Supervisors meeting virtually last month. That's 19 people more than came here in
So-
person.
to answer,
Developers come to the planning commission with their lawyers, and if everything is online and they can literally go through it and search it, you're gonna get more lawsuits from the.
so to answer your question, what is the point? Transparency.
That's not
For the
being
developer.
transparent.
Well, if you wanna help them.
What are we helping them with? I'm asking you a real question. What, no, I'm asking Dale. Dale asked the question.
They have a
But we're
database,
attached to
they
data.
have a database that they can research and look through. They can even search curbing.
Correct.
How was that handled over the last 20 years? Why, this one didn't have to do it, and I did. Well, that's not right, but Mark, come on. It's about.
I don't deny that, though. I agree. It's something that's up on the web and it can be searched anytime. I agree.
That's the only
That's-
hesitation, not the public. The public, yeah, that's great that the public can see.
I agree.
The only hesitation is the legal part of it.
I 100% truly, honestly do get what you are saying. But at the end of the day, this is me saying it. I feel if you did it for him and you talked to him and he came up with a good reason of why he got that waiver, great, good for him. But if this guy can't provide that waiver and that good reason, the PC's gonna say no. And when that guy says, well, why did you do it for XYZ over here? Well, because he had this, this, and this reason. You don't have that. So again, it's holding the PC to what they said for the other developer. It's holding them accountable. If they have a good reason for it, then so be it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean somebody doesn't think they can challenge you.
Then let them challenge you.
All right, but then he's gonna have a lot of work, and our bills are gonna go a lot higher. So, if that's what you're that determined to do, ain't nothing gonna change it. But there's gonna be some real downsides.
There may be, but there also could be some real good sides.
Yeah, right. Not, the nonsense is crazy.
Any discussion from the board?
What kind of time frame are you looking at?
I'm open. We have the stuff. I believe in the beginning of the year when we talked about putting this stuff in, we said it was something that we would eventually like to see all the boards and commissions do, and we would move along. We want to test it, make sure it worked, make sure everything was going good on our side first.
Have we really received everyone on the PC's board viewpoint pertaining to this?
No.
Or is it just coming from what Ellen's perspective is of their views of this? Can we
So,
poll them and
I know-
ask them to contribute and let us know their feelings are? Specify legitimate reasons for or against it, and then we can come back and discuss it?
We can do that. I know the only person I have ever spoke to it was John Harbaugh in the beginning of the year when we got it. At that time, he seemed receptive of it, but I heard from other people that he was not. So I do not know that answer. When I talked to him originally, he seemed yes about it. But I heard from other people he wasn't. That's whispered down the alley. If you would like, let's have Andrea or Biz send an email to all the PC board members and get their opinion.
I just know when I was running for election, many residents voiced a concern that we need more transparency and accountability, and that they would like to have that through different options. And so this is an option where we can provide that to our residents.
Do you have any other input, Jason?
I do, but I'm on video, so I hate to say it. I mean, like I said, I get it why people don't want to be out there for everybody to see and forever, but I also like the transparency. So for me, it's a tough call, but I think not me personally, but I know you guys have gotten a lot of good feedback from residents about being able to watch us and see what's happening in the township. So to me, that's pretty important. And I think the Planning Commission could be a good candidate, and I think there's other townships doing it and municipalities. So I don't think we'd be leading the charge. I think it's out there.
This is gonna put more work on Biz or maybe on Andrea, but can we reach out to other municipalities and townships who have posted things online and ask them, have they incurred any additional legal consequences as a result? You know, are there issues that they definitely came up against since they had live streamed them and made the meetings public?
I can do that. Sorry, I was writing, but yes. I
No,
can do that.
sorry for the extra work, but at least then that will help give us some good feedback as to some of the things maybe Ellen maybe.
I mean, it was 7 months
Speaking
ago
to-
when I sat in my PSATS training, but there was a woman there from Upper Macungie, part of the staff. You know, and she talked about, that was a discussion, live streaming. And I believe what I recall her saying was that, they've been doing it, I think, for 3 years or more. That's been a very positive experience for the township. And, people are more engaged with what's happening. So I think there's a lot of positives to it, really. And, there are risks, but that's true with anything in life.
Would you like Biz to look and we can table it till next month and get that?
I'm fine tabling and getting some more feedback, and
Okay.
maybe some residents sitting out there will show up at the next meeting because they heard this and want to put their 2 cents in.
I can find some examples of policies that other municipalities might have, the ones that are active with PCs, and just so we have them too. Since we wrote a policy for the Board of Supervisors going public, we would need to write one for Planning Commission as well for live streaming.
Maybe we should live stream the historical commission too.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see them all.
Can you do zoning?
If you need help falling asleep, watch the Historic Commission.
No good choices.
I believe when I was actually looking for examples for live streaming our meetings for the policy, I hope I have an example of who that came from, because theirs was actually written, the Board of Supervisors meetings, and it may also transfer to other meetings that take place in the same meeting room. So it wasn't guaranteed that those other meetings in the same space would be recorded, but it kind of left it open-ended that other meetings in the same space with the camera set up could also be live streamed. I'll see if I still have that.
I believe it was Upper Makunji. This is the one you're talking about? No. All right, so we'll table that, and we'll discuss in September.
I even put a nice shirt on tonight because I knew it was going to be on YouTube.
With your smart glasses?
And the smart glasses, yeah.
Are they AI? Are they recording and streaming?
they're
It's
not.
getting late, let's move on, please.
Next is discussion of township parking lot sidewalks. I believe I asked for this to be put on. I believe someone else actually might have asked also.
Yeah, I did.
Do we want to discuss this or table it? And we
No,
do it at a
we need to
workshop.
discuss this because of the township, or the festival coming up. Because my view on the parking lot, it's a safety issue. And when you have people walking around in that parking lot and we have the big holes and goalies that we have, we're opening ourselves up to safety and possible liability if somebody were to fall or hurt themselves in that.
So I believe what we're gonna have to do is reach out to Cohen and have him review. I know that that is a pervious pavement, so we need to find out why it was pervious, if it's required to be pervious.
I don't
And
think
what we
there's
can
any
do.
inlets in there, out there, like drains, are there?
I think it just settles down through stone and then the stone
Yeah, but
settles
that's
over
because-
into
They
there.
have it, I believe, because there's no, that was taking the place of drain.
Possibly.
It was part of your stormwater management at the
Yeah,
time,
that's-
if I
yeah.
remember. That was 20
So
years ago.
we do follow, even though we're not in our MS4 area, permit area here, we do try to follow requirements. We did. I tried to do some research because it's also been mentioned about getting the lines painted, and it came into play for me, 'cause I don't know anything about asphalt or paving, if there are special paint requirements. And I fell down into a rabbit hole, and I am waiting on a quote from a company, but pervious pavement is supposed to be maintained 2 to 3 times a year with a special vacuum sweeper, which has absolutely not been done in my time here, and I'm not going to count on it having been. So I've been trying to do some research to see how that affects its pervious capabilities, because the kind of sweeper that we have is only going to hurt it and pack dirt down into the areas where things need to drain. So according to, this is someone with Virginia Tech, a pervious paving could last 20 to 30 years if properly maintained. I don't know that that necessarily applies to us. But the company that is supposed to be quoting us on line painting, he said he would get it to me today, and I did not receive it. He was of the mindset that it's worth trying to fix it first with bringing in the proper vacuum sweeper. I forgot to ask Dan, but I have not noticed areas of pooling that would be concerning, showing us that it's not working like it's supposed to. And I did also find AI Responso, take it with a grain of salt. But when it comes to patching, there are times where people will use, as that hole has been patched previously, not this year with cold patch or hot asphalt if we had some left over, because it's such a small area that it's not going to greatly affect the pervious nature of the majority of the parking lot. So it does seem to allow some patching, minimal patching, no sealing, as needed could be okay with non-pervious materials.
So can we reach out, should we
Just
reach out
cold
to
patch it for now. At least that big pothole, let's get a cold patch before
the festival?
the festival, and we need to figure out what we can do with that parking lot. I mean, I think the one whole side, they've already cut a trench across, and it looks like it was filled with regular blacktop
Yeah, it looks like that to me.
on the
Well,
side.
It ends, it's only the front. It ends as it goes around the building. That's regular blacktop.
So the side where the old police entrance is regular
That
black,
Regular blacktop.
but it looks identical to the stuff in the
No,
front.
it really doesn't if you go out and look at it. This stuff unravels.
Before we cold patch it, do we need to get Cohen in here to examine it and just make sure
No.
that everything is?
I think we need to get a cold patch, try to get it vacuumed and see if we can do something to save it before.
Let's, you know, see if the guy that you're talking to can come out and see what he can do.
I believe the
Recommendations.
board 2 years ago talked about trying to have it vacuumed, but it never happened. And I know those guys run the sweeper across it.
Yeah, I think we should make an effort to do something with it, because if you said 20 to 30 years, I think we're at a little over 20 years.
That's why that was my next question. How old is it?
2003.
Let's see if they say it's savable
Yeah,
first,
I-
but let's cold patch at least the potholes.
just cold patch. Dig it out a little first, or?
I don't think it matters. There's some big stone in there. Leave it to Public Works what they think.
Okay.
So if you do, like, if you were to dig it out, because
don't
there's
know if that's-
layers, you would be disturbing some of
Yeah.
the other layers,
Well,
allowing
it
the
looks like there's
draining
some
with the
stone that was
surrounding.
dumped in there.
They were packing stone in there for a
Yeah.
while.
I didn't know if
Yes.
they needed, maybe clean out some of that stone at least before they,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll talk to Dan tomorrow.
we don't need a motion for this, right? Okay.
Thank you. Next, review of Lower Macungee's Township zoning ordinance and saldo amendments. So since we are in the Southwestern Lehigh Plan, they'd sent us some of their ordinances that are going through. I don't see anything of concern. If you
I
two
reviewed it and I didn't see anything that concerned me.
are happy, we can send them a letter saying thanks for sending. We have no comment.
I'm happy with that.
Okay?
Has that gone to the planning commission?
I cannot answer that question. Can you answer
That
that?
should go to the planning commission.
It will go to both if Andrea has not shared it with you yet.
Because that's normally the always response.
It's an opportunity for both the PC and the board.
Yeah, well, the board would get it after. That's usually how it works.
Does it actually matter who gets it first?
It
You would get-
doesn't matter, but it's a courtesy.
I was asking our solicitor.
Planning commission.
The only reason that you might want to send it.
The zoning officer is the one that received this in the mail, so if she did not send it to you right away, I will speak with her, but she absolutely had the opportunity.
Well, then there has to be a
They
routine.
typically, as a matter of course, send it there first, then they brought it
Okay.
back. But it's not required. But then you would get comments.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your answer, Mark.
I said you would get comments from the PC. If it went to the PC first, you would then
Yeah.
get comments back that you could consider. But you only have 30 days to respond, so I don't know what your timing is on the
They don't
meetings.
meet until the
It'll be the
Eight.
7th or 8th.
It was just received
14th.
August 17th.
14th.
14th. It was received when?
August 17th, and I believe our regular meeting for us will be, I believe, September 17th.
So you would miss the 30 days. Yeah. Oh, and that's why it's good, they're gonna miss that date if it went to the PC.
And I think there have been others. I don't think that Andrea understands to send it to the planning commission.
Well, it was just received.
Yeah,
It was
just,
ju-
No, I meant there were previous ones.
Okay.
From other townships.
We will address that, but this one was received on the 17th, which was Monday. You guys would meet on the 14th, and we would meet the 17th, which would be over.
yeah, you'd miss the 30 days. But typically, it goes to the planning commission, then you'll get some comments back, if it works in terms of timing, and then a letter goes out. It's not required that it follows that process. This time it wouldn't make sense, because your meeting would fall after the 30 days. But sometimes then you would get comments back from the PC that you could consider and send along in a letter.
Do you recommend us wait and just send a late letter?
No, I think if you've looked at it and you didn't have any concerns, it should still go to the PC, and
Okay.
they could still come back and let us know if there's concerns.
Okay.
Andrea would know, and she sends a letter. Usually there's a letter goes out that just says we either have no concerns, or we saw this was an item
Well,
the
you can you
raises.
say that, we didn't, the board initially did not see any concerns, but we're also forwarding it to our planning commission.
You can, yeah, that's fine too.
And if they have any comments or whatever, we'll forward them on to you.
Yeah, That's
There we
fine,
go, perfect.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next correspondence, the August 2026 Social Security letter. If anybody wants copies, they might be on the back table. No, they're not. I'll give you mine if you want them. A letter from Chestnut Hill Forestry. About buying wood. I have nothing for that. If you guys want.
Is there anything you'd consider about that? Possibly on a our township properties that we own? I mean, not maybe with this guy, but with somebody. I don't, would you consider doing that?
I wouldn't mind putting, if you want to put it on a future meeting and we can discuss, if you wanted timber harvesting on any of the township property, we can
We only have
discuss it
two
then.
properties really that, I mean, there's some big stuff out there on, what, East Mill Hill?
Would you like Biz to put that on for a
On both
future
prop-
meeting?
Yes, please.
Okay. Biz, could you do that, please? Thank you. Good if I throw it forward? Happy? Notice from PP&L regarding routine vegetation maintenance. I see there's some emails back and forth. Biz, do you need to say anything?
They're removing 2 trees on our property sometime this fall.
Okay. Good, happy. Next is invitation to the Lehigh Valley General Assembly.
Is there an issue with the dates on here? First paragraph, it says, General Assembly on Tuesday, March 10th, but then down in the the bulleted list, it says Thursday, September 10th.
So they hold 2 general assemblies, a spring and a fall, so they must have copy and pasted their email and missed that
I
date.
was wondering. So, it's probably should be September 10th.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Next is Lehigh County Association of Township Officials 108th Summer Convention at Upper Macungie Lifestyle. If either of you would like to attend, there's the schedule.
That's my birthday.
Well, there you go. Happy birthday. You can get a free donut. And then after that one on September 10th, you can go to the other one
Ugh.
at 7 p.m. You can have a birthday full of conventions.
That sounds like a lovely way to
Yeah.
celebrate.
Horrible. PP&L Q3 newsletter, and then invitation to attend the opening ceremonies at the Allentown Fair. I will not be around, but if either of you would like to,
I
let Biz know.
I know Daryl and I know Bev. Maybe I'll go over and represent.
I did it a couple years ago, but
They would like an RSVP by tomorrow. So,
Okay.
only, they would provide your ticket or entry or whatever. So if you really are interested, let me know and I can reach out.
just so you know, they give you a ticket to get in for that day, but it's the first day. So I was all excited. I was like, oh, I got free tickets to get in. But the first day of Downtown Fair is free, just in case you're wondering.
Or I guess.
You do get parking though. Next is public comments. Any public comments? Come on, Ed, you sat here the whole time. You got the best sleep ever. With no public comment, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll have to check my, can I text you tomorrow? Okay. I'll check my calendar. Motion to adjourn.
Jason,
I will second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
9:24. Oh,
See, this is why I run a workshop. I don't want to have to drag this out down 30 different items. I told you that. And when they wanted to